Yeah, there's a lot of tough games for them.
Yeah, so if you go Arkansas wins, give them Pine Bluff. They don't win at Oklahoma State, in my opinion. UAB tougher than expected. That offensive line at UAB is going to be deep this year.
Should be a win,
but it should be a win, too. Loss at Auburn, loss at A&M.
I would think.
Loss to Tennessee, loss to LSU. Mississippi State, I think it's a loss. Just give that to them, though.
Okay, give them a win there. So what we got? We got
lost
3 wins.
To Ole Miss, lost to Texas. Give them the La Tech win, loss at Missouri. That's 4 wins.
That's
under
wins.
4.5.
It's under 4.5. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some swing games that can go over, but that's tough. South Carolina on the other side. Old Dominion, give them the win. Loss at Kentucky. Loss to LSU. Akron, give them the win. Ole Miss loss. Alabama loss. Oklahoma loss. Texas A&M loss. Vandy, give them the win. Missouri lost. Wofford, give them the win. Clemson got them at 4 as well.
That's tough for Shane
obviously,
Beamer.
Some swing games, they're not going to both be 4 wins, but I can see what Jesse is saying there. You?
And I can. And that's probably going to get Shane Beamer on the hot seat, if not fired.
And
I hate that for him.
Sam Pittman fired.
Yeah, I think it will get Sam Pittman fired. You know, he got the vote of confidence at the end of last year. Then KJ Jefferson was out. They got blasted in their final home game against Missouri. So that was kind of a tough way to end the season for him last year.
Michael says Missouri too high, Florida too high as well, says Troy. Back to the Jesse Simonton graphic. Jesse with On 3 Sports gives you just right. He's got Auburn just right at 7.5.
I would play the over. I think that number's good.
Yep,
He's got LSU just right at 9.5.
That's a perfect number.
Missouri just right at 9.5.
I would agree there too.
Tennessee just right at 9.5.
Yep.
I think I would agree.
A&M just right at 8.5.
I would go under.
But you think that's a bad number though?
I would probably go 7.5.
Okay,
on
all right.
Alabama just right at 9.5.
I agree.
Right.
Georgia just right at 10.5.
I agree.
Right.
Mississippi State just right at 4.5.
I think I'd go under. I think I'd put that at 3.5.
So under 4.5. So
we talked about the difficulty of their schedule earlier today.
Yeah. That is Oklahoma just right at 7.5.
That's a good number.
Texas just right at 10.5.
Probably would put Texas 9.5.
9.5. Too low, he says. He thinks Florida goes over 4.5 with the toughest schedule in the country.
I don't. I think if they do, then I think Billy Napier's safe.
Here's the schedule. That almost to go over 4.5.
Well, you better have a lot of work done before the back half of your schedule if you're trying to get over 4.5 wins.
Let's give them the win over.
Brutal.
Give them the win over Miami.
Okay.
Over Samford.
2.
Over Mississippi State.
3.
Give them UCF.
4. Now give me the overs.
Boy, if they start 4-1,
that's a huge story.
Incredible.
But even then, let them start 4-1
to
and
go
see what
5.
happens. Yeah.
Give them Kentucky at home to get them to 5.
They've won that game a lot, so there's 5. That gets them over 4.5. But boy, it's hard to find any other wins.
That's giving them wins over Miami and UCF.
I know, which is far from given.
Do have to make noise in September if they want to do anything.
Yeah, their back half is just impossible.
I mean, everyone, including Taylor Tannenbaum, who's on the show with us, believes Miami is back this year, her words.
I think Miami's going to be better than A&M.
Yeah, but Miami and Florida, that first game, could set the tone for 2 coaches.
No doubt.
For that whole season.
No
that
doubt
is a great week 1 game there. Back to the others that are too low. Kentucky over 6.5. Ole Miss 9.5.
He says that's too low?
Yeah.
Boy, the Ole Miss love.
That's crazy.
What are you going to put them at 10.5? Or they're going to go 1 loss in the regular season?
I guess that means he feels comfortable that they are a 10 or 11-win team. Can we get the Ole Miss schedule to end the show?
It is a beneficial schedule for somebody trying to get to a college football playoff.
Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia, Southern, Kentucky,
that should be
South Carolina, 6-0. Now LSU at LSU, give them a loss. Home to Oklahoma, give them the win.
Swing
7.
game.
Arkansas 8. Georgia no. Florida give them 9. Mississippi State 10.
It's going to be Mississippi State or Texas A&M. One of those two will keep out Ole Miss or Texas.
That Oklahoma Ole Miss game, we don't talk a ton about it. That's a pretty big swing game. I think probably for both teams if you look at their schedule.
Jesse Simonton with the whole story on 3 Sports. You can go get all of his takes on the SEC win totals there on 3 Sports, or just Google Jesse on his social media platforms. That's our show today. Thanks for being with us. And thanks to all of you for your comments in the chat room always. Remember, the Meltdown later today, Brown and I competing together as a team.
Can't wait.
In the trivia competition, live at 2 a.m. Rockstars on an opposing team.
Who you with, Rockstar?
It's me and Laurel Lunsford. We are the Little Kicks.
That's 2 o'clock, 2 Central.
Team name?
2 Central today. The Meltdown on our all of our platforms, including the one you're watching now. Go check out all of our other podcasts, Disrupt the Media. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Thursday as we get going. A ton to get to, including Buster Olney back on the show. Coming up at 10:25 Central Time today. We'll get to that. NFL camps going on. Maybe the biggest legal challenge in NFL history that could impact the way they do business later in the show as well. NBA playoffs, championship series starts tonight. We'll get to that, but we'll start in the NBA. The big news that could be impacting even everyone in the SEC and the basketball world, since we are a basketball state, sort of now, with 2 top 10 teams in the SEC, preseason going into next year. It looks like the Lakers and Dan Hurley have mutual interest. That was the breaking news as you woke up this morning. You go all the way back, and you see the graphic there. Dan Hurley is listening. The Lakers are interested, and they're deep into discussions about a long-term, lengthy, guaranteed contract to pull Dan Hurley out of UConn and get him to the NBA with the Lakers.
You know, we've seen some disaster situations like Pitino, Calipari, great coaches at the next level really haven't worked out. You know, a couple of things. Dan Hurley, I think 15 years ago, would have 100% taken this job because it is the Los Angeles Lakers, but because money is so big in college basketball and he's got a mini dynasty started right now in stores, I find it hard to believe that he would take this job. And
Really?
then I had somebody remind me this morning, NIL. He doesn't want to deal with this.
Yep, that's got to be the driving factor here, I think.
Not just that, but how can UConn compete in the NIL? If he loved the college game.
That's what I mean by NIL.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, not that he doesn't want to deal with NIL, but I think he thinks UConn's ill-equipped to battle, Duke, North Carolina, apparently Alabama, Auburn,
Yeah,
Kentucky,
this is much-
Arkansas now, yeah.
Much like what you saw with Jay Wright after winning 2 national championships at 3 years at Villanova.
That's right.
Villanova doesn't seem like a program that would have a lot of backing when it comes to the collective. Now, this could be different. I've heard various reports that UConn has a really good NIL when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, maybe they do.
Not sure. This is another challenge. It is the Lakers, and it's an opportunity to coach one of the 5 best players to ever play the game, LeBron James.
I would tell you that Little T and I had a chance when we were out covering the NCAA tournament, and we were waiting to get at one of the great breakfast places in Phoenix, waiting online, and there were, I think it was 4 older gentlemen. I think I talked to you guys about it on the show that day, the day whenever I was on the show live from out there again. We were waiting online, and these guys were season ticket holders and donated to UConn basketball. Hefty checks, they were telling me. They're not the biggest of the boosters, but
they get some money.
Yeah, I would put them mid-tier boosters, and they talked about the struggle in the NIL world of them writing, 6-figure checks every year to the basketball NIL. And without that football money, we're moving to where now, as we move to the new world, you're going to be able to take some of the TV money, move that into paying your players. You're going to have to do that. UConn's not in a major conference.
That's not a revenue producer in football.
Yeah.
It runs at a deficit. Now, basketball, and I bet women's basketball makes money for them. I bet both those. I would imagine they lose money on football right now and make money on women's basketball and men's basketball.
They were lamenting just how hard it was every year for UConn to generate the money they had or they wanted to be an elite program.
Yeah, I'll say this. Look, he's an egotistical dick. At least he seems that way on the surface. I think everybody would agree with that. But he becomes a Lakers egotistical dick. The guy can coach. He is one of the best. You can make an argument right now he is the best currently coaching. I think everybody would say that in college basketball. I just don't know why you would want to go to Los Angeles and live in L.A. right now.
Well,
the money is not going to be that much different when you're talking about what the cost of living. I know the cost of living is high in the Northeast, but I don't think the money's going to be that much different. And if you go and you win a championship in Los Angeles, well, hell, who hasn't done that?
Just about everybody's done that. Of course, everybody that coaches at UConn wins championships too. Who's coached UConn that had won a championship?
Calhoun to Kevin Ollie to now Dan Hurley. But
and I'll tell you what, if they'll hire a good coach behind him, I'd like that coach to win a national championship. And there's obviously two prongs to this: the Lakers prong, and then what would affect the college prong.
Far more interested in the college game.
I am too, but I was going to say with the Lakers, and I was curious Lance's thoughts on this, and I think we've got them now as a Lakers fan. But if I'm Dan Hurley, I could look at this like I've kind of always wanted to coach in the NBA. Man, and that's what Woj is saying, is that Hurley has always kind of thought he wanted to coach in the NBA. This is a chance to be the Lakers coach. I don't know how you're going to ever be the Celtics coach. That would probably be the one that speaks to him the most, but
Joe Mazzulla is not going anywhere.
they're pretty good right now. Yeah. It seems like that guy's got pretty good job security.
Yeah, but you know how you get the Celtics job? You're in the NBA doing a good job as an NBA coach, and they come and get you.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
But this is an opportunity to coach the Lakers, one of the greatest franchises of all time. And if I fell, because Woj is saying this is a massive guaranteed contract. If I fell with a lot of money, and
I can come back.
Yeah. And Dan Hurley would be one of the most – he's Brad Stevens on steroids. Every time a big job comes up, everyone's like, do you think Brad Stevens would come back?
He's never even sniffed it looks like. He's happy in the front office with the Celtics.
Yeah, but Dan Hurley's got the trophies that Brad Stevens almost had, but he doesn't have.
Yeah, most contracts really favor the employer. This one would definitely favor Dan Hurley.
Doubt.
To be able to get him from winning back-to-back championships in stores to come to Los Angeles, to go from college to the NBA, it is definitely going to be beneficial to Dan Hurley.
You'd have major programs, Lance, firing their coach if they thought Dan Hurley would come back to college. They'd fire him just to hire Hurley.
Look, as far as a great coach, would love to see it. This LeBron end of the career, Bronny James getting drafted maybe in the second round, it's a weird situation. I don't think it matters whether it was J.J. Redick or Dan Hurley. That's probably going to happen anyway. If I'm Dan Hurley, I stay put.
Yeah, here's LeBron back in April. Actually, Dan Hurley was on the J.J. Redick podcast. And this was April, and JJ and Dan Hurley were talking offense. You rarely hear a head coach go into such incredible detail about the unbelievable offense. That sophisticated is a word that many people use, talking about Dan Hurley's offensive mindset and scheme. LeBron James likes, he's so damn good, quote there, along with his staff, super creative with their love it. That was LeBron James back in April. So if you think, I thought LeBron was all in to Team J.J. Redick, well, maybe J.J. Redick has just been a smokescreen to get the guy that he wanted to the altar here. Being a TV guy for a long, long time, it's been J.J. Redick all week long. And to have this story simmering the way it has been all morning long makes me feel like it's really close to the finish line.
Well, a lot of people,
that he's staying at UConn.
Believe it will. And look, for Lakers fans and for the organization, J.J. Redick might be the next bright future head coach. But this is such a safe, seemingly hire that will ultimately win another championship for the Lakers. You're talking about a guy that had never coached basketball to a guy that is right now the best coach in college basketball.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is Dan Hurley, I feel like, is the guy they're going to bring in to rebuild the Lakers.
Well, I would want that as a Lakers fan.
That's what I think this is going to be. He comes in with LeBron for one more year.
Yeah, Anthony Davis is supposed to be very vocal on this hire as well. Like, if you're a Laker, I don't know how you could say, I don't want Dan Hurley.
Right.
Like, I think you want this. You've seen what this guy's been able to do. But I kind of agree with you. Strip it down. If you're getting a massive guaranteed contract and you are guaranteed years, why would you not want to do it the way you want to do it?
Yeah, exactly. And to me, this is, okay, I get to be the Lakers in Los Angeles. I get LeBron for one more year probably.
But I'm saying I'm not drafting Bronny.
Yeah.
Unless he really likes him.
That would be a make or break for me, is like, I am not getting into a dog and pony show just so he could play with his son. Yeah, if he wants to finish up here and then go play with his son somewhere else.
Right. This would never happen. I would love, though, if he took the job and then tomorrow the press conference in L.A., he's at Crypto and he's saying, just want to let everybody know that, we're going to have the Lakers back winning championships. We ain't taking Bronny James, though. I would love to hear that.
Well, maybe this is a plan down the road where LeBron's not a Laker. You can move things around in the NBA if LeBron wants to go somewhere else. Maybe there's a way to start the rebuild even this year or sooner rather than later. Dan Hurley to the Lakers is a conversation that's happening today, leaving open UConn. One quick thought on that before we move on in the show and get to some college football news here. Remember, when coaches leave, what does that do to the roster? UConn's going to be a top 5 roster, top 10 roster coming back next year, 2-time defending national champs. If Dan Hurley leaves, every one of those guys on the roster can do what the Alabama football players did when Nick Saban retired. They can walk out the door instantly if they want to do that.
Well, you also remember when a guy leaves a job, that job is open. And UConn is one of the most coveted jobs in college basketball. And I'm not saying Nate Oats would take this job because I think Nate Oats.
They couldn't afford it. Tell them around. UConn couldn't afford Nate Oats.
Oh, I don't think they could.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I was going to say he's got a roster built to do something that's never been done in Tuscaloosa, so I don't know why he would.
It's the most obvious hire. Like if you're, we love what Dan Hurley did. Who's Dan Hurley out there? Who's Dan Hurley? Like, the guy that's basically his best friend that they just coached each other in the Final Four.
If he was like, hey, look, I love my time here, he's giving everybody hugs, and they're like, who should we hire? He would be going Nate Oats.
I just don't think there's any way they could afford it.
I just wonder who at this time that they're able to get, because that's going to put somebody, as you said, all these guys can leave. Another major coach takes this job, then his guys are able to leave. It's bad timing for somebody out there.
Bad timing is the key word there. Our Birmingham Stallions right on time when it comes to their chance to win another championship at home this week. 2 o'clock coming up at Protective Stadium on Saturday. It's a playoff game. Stallions in Michigan. They played last week. Birmingham pulled it out at the end. This time it's for all the marbles to be the USFL Division champions and move on to the first ever UFL championship in St. Louis, likely against St. Louis. So 2 games away from another league championship for the Stallions, but it all starts Saturday, 2 p.m., Protective Stadium. You can come on and cheer your team one more time, last home game of the year. Enjoy the Fan Fest, on-the-field opportunities for the kids, and elite professional football. Tickets start at $10 at theufl.com, theufl.com to get your tickets. Don't miss your chance to cheer on the Stallions at Protective Stadium playoffs, 2 o'clock on Saturday.
Bruce Pearl is from that part of the country, so I do wonder if his name would get mentioned if Dan Hurley does take this job. His buyout, a little less than Oats, but still $7 million. As of last year, I'm just going off memory from when the Kentucky job came open, what the number was Kentucky would have had to have paid. I have not checked today to see how that number might have diminished over time, but $7 million was the number back in April.
Bruce at his age now.
I agree 100% with you.
And even if he went there and won a national championship next year, it would be great for Bruce to have that, that ring. But at the same time, people would be like, okay, this is kind of expected. Much like Nate Oats, he's got opportunities to do things at Auburn that have never been done. He's making a ton of money.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
And a top 10 roster coming back in.
Well,
Alabama's preseason number 1, Auburn's preseason number 10.
Yeah, they've both worked so hard to build something in Tuscaloosa and Auburn that's probably the best either one of them have ever had it in their careers.
Well, you're losing Stephon Castle, you're losing Tristan Newton, you're losing Donovan Clingan. I mean, can you imagine whoever takes this job, you lose 10 games and you're like an 8 seed?
Yeah. It wouldn't be a good start there. I would look if Dan Hurley leaves, to whoever the top assistant is on that staff, to take over and be the head coach at UConn. It's the easiest way to try to keep your roster in place because everybody loves the assistant coach. Going to love that guy. That's who I would say would at least coach him for 1 year at UConn right there.
Can I tell you who I think their top assistant is? It may not be their top assistant. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to go to the.
It's not our former net scout, is it?
Greg Polinsky?
It's not Polinsky, is it?
No.
He was on some good basketball.
Polinsky was on the Tennessee. He's on the Tennessee staff.
coaching staff. That's right.
No, this guy's just an assistant. It's not his top assistant, but it's Bill Murray's son.
Oh, that's right.
Do you guys remember that? That Bill Murray's kid is he's Luke Murray. That's his name. He's an assistant, but he's not their top kid. Kamani Young is their associate head coach. He's the next guy in line. So you're right. They probably just look right to him, and this never even gets outside stores.
Yeah, listen, for those in the chat room, we're not starting that. Nate's not leaving Tuscaloosa. Bruce isn't leaving Auburn. That's not what the conversation was about. The conversation was about you knock off a 2-time defending national champion giant. Hurley leaves. The roster gets broken a little bit or maybe a lot. Opens the path, one less team you got to beat in March. That's what that conversation was.
Well, and I do think
about.
that the speculation with national shows is going to be Nate Oats. Why would he take this job? Why would he take this job?
And people are going to look at the buyout that he just negotiated when the Kentucky job was open, and they're going to be like, that's why he doesn't take that. That's one reason he doesn't take that job.
Storm Restoration Roofing bringing you part of the show. We will tell you about the college football playoff and get instant reaction to the schedule that was released right after our show yesterday. We gave you some of that on social media, but Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, will get up on your roof and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. Why is that important? Well, think about this. You can get Greg on that roof to check out any loose shingles with all the storms that happen here in the South that can cause water entry points. He can check fittings and everything up there. He can check the age of your roof and let you know how far away you are from needing a new roof. And that's free with no obligation. If you call his cell phone number, 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or go to Facebook. Storm Restoration Roofing on Facebook is Greg from Pell City. Greg from Pell City. You can contact him there. He is an A-plus guy. His business is with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust him. Locally owned for over 20 years. Most of his crews have family members on them. So that's the way it works with Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531. Okay, that was the big national developing news, and with a little twist to how it ties into the Southeastern Conference. College football always ties into the Southeastern Conference. And yesterday we got the TV times and the TV networks and made it look a little bit more real about the 12-team playoffs that's happening this December. Here's the way it looks. We'll start things on Friday night, December 20th, so close to Christmas, by the way, with a 7 o'clock kick on ABC and ESPN. They'll simulcast. They'll do all the stuff they do for the playoffs. These are on-campus games. Then we go triple header on Saturday with your usual TV windows. 11 a.m. on TNT Central Time. Saturday, December 21st for these games, 3 o'clock Central on TNT. And then primetime back on ABC, ESPN, 7 o'clock Central Time for the third game. So a triple header on that Saturday. Key there is you'll be going directly against the National Football League with their first Saturday games of the year. Yeah. And as everyone keeps talking, that's why we live in a great country where you can have split screens, multicast now, or multiple TVs in your sports room to watch both.
Those are single NFL games, though. That's not like a multi-game window. So you'll have one NFL game versus one college game.
That's right.
Yeah, you've got Houston, KC at 1 o'clock Central, so noon here. And then you've got Baltimore, Pittsburgh at 3:30.
By the way,
time.
Two really good games.
Really good games, but I would say for the first time, I think college football can make a dent because I think, your football fans can be like, damn, on-campus playoff games. Yeah. So to me, that is more appealing unless you're really a fan of one of those four teams.
My point being that I think the NFL put two really good games on that Saturday that aren't usually on there. Usually you get Tampa Bay playing a really good team or, Tennessee playing a really good team. You don't usually have a good team playing there, but it's usually a dog. It's not one of their premier matchups they throw on that Saturday because people are going to watch it anyway because it's a standalone Saturday NFL game.
Yeah, good chance you got four postseason teams right
That's
here.
right.
Yeah. And it is not a streaming. It is an NBC game, so it's on a network. Yeah. I mean, Texans Chiefs could be for playoff positioning.
Yeah, but do you guys
for the number one overall seed?
Absolutely, it could be.
Do y'all not agree though? This would be
I think
this will put bigger dents in NFL ratings. This will be as close as we've seen when they've gone head-to-head.
Well, it's a single game. So a lot of times when you see like the Sunday NFL ratings, that's 3 or 4 or 5 games combined across CBS and Fox. And then you get that national game, and it's 2 or 3 games combined. A single standalone game versus an on-campus playoffs, it's going to be matchup dependent. I will be interested to see because, to your point, Houston, Kansas City could be one of the biggest regular season NFL games this year.
That's right.
On NBC.
Same for Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Could be for the division.
Could be for the division. And you said you think that's very much intentional by the NFL.
I do.
So I'm curious, how does college football react? Do they say, all right, we'll play that game. Let's put our strong – if we've got Ohio State – this is first round, right?
Yeah.
What if Oregon wins the Big Ten and you got Ohio State, Alabama?
Yeah. Could be a matchup. I mean,
Ohio State, Alabama, and Columbus, Ohio. I mean, that is a ratings winner right there. Do you say, let's go head-to-head? That is a noon Big Ten country kickoff. Alabama's going to Columbus, Ohio. Let's go head-to-head with Chiefs and Texans.
You will have a 5 seed hosting a 12 in this round. Mm-hmm. You'll have a 6 hosting an 11.
That's the one you would sacrifice. The 5-12, you're like, okay, group of 5 team probably.
Yeah, but where do you put that? You put that on Friday night. Do you put that first on Saturday morning.
That's my question to you. Do you put the 5-12? Is that the sacrificial lamb going head to head with Chiefs and Texans, or do you say, let's try to win this battle. Let's put Ohio State, Alabama, whatever my biggest name matchup is.
I would go 5-12 against Houston. And
You would
KC.
throw out a sacrificial lamb.
I put my best matchup on Friday night.
Well,
Yeah, I would too. Mm-hmm. That's standalone.
I do wonder, like the Big Ten, we know this. We learned this actually recently, that they've got this, they always had this gentleman's agreement that they don't play night November games. Now they're about to have to start doing that because they got so many teams.
Yep.
Because of the cold weather in Big Ten country. They're like, we just want to play these noon games.
They're going to have no say-so. I mean, they'll have a voice, but
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They'll have a voice, but I mean, the playoffs is going to say, yeah, Ohio State, we understand you prefer to play at noon, but we want this game in prime time with you in Alabama or you
and
in
you do
Texas.
too, because we're going to renegotiate this contract in the very near future, or ESPN's going to pawn it off to other people, and we want the maximum
That's right.
dollars. You guys are going to want that.
So y'all both think you go sacrificial lamb against
I
Texas
would say
Chiefs?
so.
I would.
Yeah.
It'd be the group
Okay.
of 5 game against the easy win. It'd be, what's the point spread on that, LT? 17.5.
Depends on the matchup.
Yeah, but
Well,
if
let's
you're-
say-
this year.
Well, let's say Notre Dame's your 5 because that could be a spot
Yeah.
Notre Dame's
Yeah.
in because they can't be a top 4. So
Oh,
Notre
I'll
Dame's your
guarantee
5.
you, here's who the 5 seed is. It's going to be Notre Dame or runner-up Big Ten, runner-up SEC. That'll
versus
be one of the 5. Group of 5 team.
Group of 5 team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 17-point favorite.
Yeah,
At
more
home.
likely.
At home, yeah.
Because you're talking either Georgia, Texas, likely, as one of those.
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, that
Alabama,
group of teams,
but the betting people would tell you it's either
Georgia,
going to be Georgia
Texas,
or
yeah.
Texas hosting a group of 5 team,
Yeah,
or it's going to be Ohio State or Oregon
hosting.
or Notre Dame hosting
Yeah,
a group of 5
it's
team.
going to be a big number. Yeah, you that's your sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I mean, I
if
think
I really-
Oregon was, and I know it was a meaningless bowl game, but I think they were 20-something over Liberty this year.
Yeah, listen, if I really wanted to take a shot at the NFL, I would put Notre Dame in prime time if they're hosting a game. If they're in the playoffs, no matter where that seed is, I will take Notre Dame hosting whomever in the playoffs in South Bend, pray for snow, and and put that opposite of the NFL
It
game.
would be kind of funny if Notre Dame was opposite of the NBC game, though. If Notre Dame had a home
Yeah, that
playoff
would
game
be.
and it's opposite of the NBC Kansas City game,
That's right.
because that game's obviously not going to be on NBC. It's a Notre Dame home game that would not be on NBC. That'd be kind of funny if they thumbed their nose at them that way.
And I would imagine the reason ESPN sold off these two first round games is because of their, I would imagine,
Their
is that
NFL deal?
Is that other one on ESPN?
You'll have to give me 2 seconds to pull it up. I just did the Kansas City game, but I'll pull it up.
That one's
Hang on.
prime time. You were talking about Kansas City.
No,
on
that's a noon kick.
That's a noon kick.
Noon NBC.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll take that back. There's no primetime game in the NFL that day?
Hey, no, there is. There's 3 games. I think one of them's in prime time. You're just going to have to give me 2 seconds. to
Okay,
get
I
to
thought
that.
it was just 2 on that Saturday. LT, if you will, tell us about our friends at Hemp Hill. By the way, your voice sounds fantastic.
Yeah, we're
Thank
back.
you.
We're back.
It's really weird. I was telling Rocky last night in the middle of trivia, I was like, I think trivia brought my voice back.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, I got a gift for you. Somebody gave you a gift, so go
It's
ahead
a
and do your thing.
miracle.
You're going to run it in here?
Yeah, go ahead and do your start.
Okay, tell us about Hemp Hill. It's gonna run it in
Hey,
here.
look, trusted name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Whether you experience any of these in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
What is this?
So before trivia yesterday, Miss Lunsford gave me this, saying this. She says this helps. It's an herbal thing for singers. Extra strength. It's a spray on your throat. She says it helps for performers and everything. So I said I'm gonna have to have a bottle of mine as well. So
You're
give
keeping
your
one?
throat a couple sprays of that.
All right. That's a very nice gift from the Lunsfords.
What do you think it tastes like right now? Does it
What's
say it
the
has a flavor?
Yeah.
It is strawberry ass.
Yeah.
So we'll see what this is all about.
How many sprays are you supposed to do?
How many, Rocky? 2, 3?
Oh, I don't know.
It's probably on the label right there. I just go
10.
ahead and do it, though, and not even.
Turns out it's licorice.
Oh.
What? Let me see.
Just spray one.
No.
Well,
Yeah, I love it. Oh, it's awful. Spray one.
Who smell this?
It's called
That's what humans do, right? God, that is awful. Smell this.
herbal formula, Lance. Fast acting, though.
Yeah, natural flavors, it sounds like. Throw it here. I'll take a taste.
I didn't even read the label. This thing could have been, cyanide.
It's from Mrs. Lunsford.
I
It's
know,
all
but
herbal.
Rockstar could have y'all could have set it up. Let's kill him off on the
That's
side.
why it was
would
wrapped. I didn't touch it.
Or with dramatic music is from Mrs. Lunsford. Bum, 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 bum. One way to get Big John to the middle chair in here.
Yerba mamsa, which is a root. Fresh stone root, also a root. Licorice, Did you taste the licorice?
That's what the taste was.
Well,
OSHA, which is a root for something, which is gum.
it's very, very earthy.
Yeah, a lot of roots in there apparently.
Your
You know,
voice is
actually, I think someone in the chat room said that's what you needed on your vocal cords was a root.
Little root.
Okay, well, we
help
got
yourself.
it.
You do sound better after spraying it, I'm going to say.
How bad is that?
It tastes like, ooh, it gets worse.
That means it's working.
Well, let's keep it up here, though, because
You
I
once
think
brought it
yeah,
up for like
yeah.
6.
listen
Yeah,
to how
this
much-
is one we can share, no doubt.
Lance sounds better. Am I
I
making it up?
agree, no.
I'm not making it up. He sounds better.
Has my voice changed any at all?
I can smell it.
Oh, God. I cannot
Yeah.
tell you how bad the aftertaste is.
Are you past the
It's-
aftertaste yet?
I don't know, like if there was like licorice is terrible, especially the black licorice. But if it was out of date for about 5 years,
Well, the initial taste was
That's very
licorice.
descriptive.
The aftertaste sounds like I put my mouth on the exhaust of an old
Again?
car and let the exhaust dripped into my mouth.
Also, it's one of those things. Don't drink. Don't wash it down. You let it settle
Yeah,
in.
you
before
gotta
drink.
let it do its work.
so
it's settling.
halitosis is one of the worst smells out there.
Absolutely.
But I think you might be able to kill halitosis with this.
You're like
Or start it.
Substituting one for the other.
I mean, I would rather smell like a earthy root.
than halitosis.
Than halitosis.
I'd agree completely. All right, there is no primetime game that day. By the way,
Okay, then I changed it. I
Yeah.
put my best game in prime time. So if you notice the two properties ESPN has, can we get the schedule again? All this talk about going up against the NFL, no prime time. Prime time Friday nights on ABC, ESPN.
Yeah, there's no NFL game that night. Nope.
Prime time Saturday nights on ABC, ESPN. There's
No NFL game.
No NFL. Meanwhile, against the NFL, both the TNT games.
Yep. That's right. We're like TNT. We're going to give you a slice of the pie,
Yeah.
but
You're going to pay us? You want this?
Yeah.
Okay, take these two
yeah, these two that we weren't going to get a ton of viewers on
against
here.
the NFL.
I
There you
think
go.
that's your answer too. Being on TNT, ESPN's going to say, "Yeah, y'all take the 5-12 game."
Yep.
Now, if it's Notre Dame, I mean that's I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a big name as the 5 seed. You're right. It's either going to be your SEC runner-up, your Big Ten runner-up, or Notre Dame. That's going to be your 5 seed.
All right. That's a little college football to start. A lot more to get to, including one of the bigger recruits for 2025 made a commitment yesterday. We'll see if anyone can guess where he went. And the New York Post, it's not even a drive-by on Urban Meyer. They take a shot at Urban Meyer in the discussion of him going into the College Football Playoff Hall of Fame. They sort of write his introduction for him on him being introduced. I'll read it to you out of the New York Post when we come back. Show being brought to you by our friends at Bandwagon Sports, locally owned, man. And this is the way sporting goods stores were back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They just worried about the community. They took care of their local little league and neighborhood teams and their youth teams and the kids. That's what it was all about back in the day. And Bandwagon's turning back the clock.
Cahaba Heights, Edgewood, 2 great Birmingham locations for sporting goods, apparel, and more. Top-of-the-line equipment, top clothing brands. They've got what you need to play like an MVP and look like an MVP. Chubby's, Bird Dogs, Tasks, Southern Tide. That gets you ready for the trip to the beach. And all summer long, their Cahaba Heights and Edgewood stores are wide open today. So go see them. Next round, it is time to jump on the bandwagon. BandwagonSports.com. BandwagonSports.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Done Away is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
On the show today, coming up, Buster Olney in 1 hour to talk baseball. Braves lose last night 9-0. Did you tell me they got one hit?
Jim, they got one hit.
One
hit.
hit.
You know what I told Dunaway? I was like, if you can tell me who got the hit, I'll give you every dollar in my pocket. And you know what he said? Third baseman. And it was Austin Riley, but he was going to go back up third base. He didn't realize Riley was back.
I didn't know Riley was back yet. I thought it would be their backup third baseman.
Boy, this is two really, really struggling offenses. When you look at yesterday, so the Braves lose 9-0. Nats get blasted 9-1, get swept by the Mets. Now, Ronaldo Lopez, this has been...
You were talking about the fact that Atlanta plays Washington starting a series
tonight. Yeah, 4-game series
tonight
starting in the nation's capital. But Ronaldo Lopez has been a pleasant surprise for the Braves. A guy traditionally out of the pen has kind of grasped onto that starting role. And, you lose a guy like Strider. Important that you get one of these guys to step up.
Yeah, we talked about him yesterday, 1.73 ERA at the age of 30, finally getting his chance to start. So the Braves in action. You can actually watch this one today, Braves fan.
This is like the 60s. They're on TV?
It's MLB. It's MLB TV's free game of the day. So I, of course, still pay for my MLB TV subscription online. You can just, what's it called when you screen it onto your TV?
You cast or
cast
you,
it.
you know,
Video cast it onto your TV, or you can watch it on your tablets. But it's the free game today, 5:40, Braves and the Nationals. Update on one of the best streaks in sports right now. White Sox lost again yesterday, 13 straight. Can we get the lights for 13 straight Chicago White Sox?
Hey, so they blew a 5-0 lead on Tuesday. They blow a 5-1 lead yesterday. I mean, I don't know. This is one of the worst teams we've ever seen in the history of Major League Baseball. That's a bold statement, but it's true.
Accurate.
4 downs in a second. First, I want to tell you about Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA. I mean, men's health, just stay on top of it. You know that. Any kind of, ladies too. But when it comes to the men, down in the undercarriage, there are so many things to worry about. That's where our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama comes in. 205-930-0920. 16 locations across Alabama. You can go to urologycentersalabama.com and check out what is going on in your area. Find the UCA location near you, one of the 16, and make an appointment today to get a checkup and stay on top of your health. 20s to 30s, 40s to 50s, and so on. Prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. They were talking about broadcasting, but Urban Meyer came up in the New York Post because he is on the verge of going into the College Football Hall of Fame. And the columnist is Phil Mushnick, longtime writer there. And he says to be honest, this is the way you should describe Urban Meyer.
Okay.
Head coach of the 2008 national champion Florida Gators. And according to the New York Times, 41 players from that team, 41 were arrested, as that's what it took for Myers to succeed. Then he paid even more millions of dollars, gets paid even more millions of dollars to go coach Ohio State in his home state, where he had 8 more players arrested, and Meyer didn't fire his pal and assistant coach despite reportedly knowing that he had allegedly physically abused his wife, and didn't fire him at least until the national media and public outcry and the victim put pressure on him, and he finally let that guy go. So this guy, not a fan of Urban Meyer, and thinks that's the way he should be introduced when he's going into the College Football Hall of Fame.
O.J. Simpson decapitated 2 people, and I've got to separate O.J. Simpson on the field and O.J. Simpson out in the wild.
Yeah, the Pro Football Hall of Fame certainly does.
Yeah, and I know people are going to say, well, these are the guys he recruited to win these championships. These guys would have been on other rosters. Urban Meyer, he is a no-doubt first ballot guy. We talked about that. It's just, and look, maybe it's deserved, but when's the last time we have talked about a coach this elite in this negative of context?
Can I just...
I mean, can you guys remember any?
This elite coach in this negative of a context?
Yeah. I don't think there's one out there.
Well, I mean, Pete Rose with his gambling, but it's not like this.
Yeah, and he, again, Pete was still a great player, wasn't really known as a great manager. But, I mean, Urban Meyer, what he did at Bowling Green to Utah to Florida to Ohio State, again, Jacksonville was a disaster, different thing. If we're just talking about head college coaches, you can make an argument he's one of the top 5 greatest college coaches of all time.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
I mean, Art Briles, but he wasn't this elite.
That's what I thought about.
Yeah, but he was not to this level. Really good coach, but not this level.
Yeah. So I just thought that was an interesting take from a longtime writer in New York Post.
And I would say, by the way, if you're trying to tear a guy down, which Phil Mushnick is, 8 arrests in a college football program is not exactly terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you
When you get to Ohio State.
I would have left that out.
Yeah,
But 31 at Florida.
Yeah, I made him look bad. Yeah,
41. Yeah,
41. That made him look bad. Yeah,
But I mean, this is still a guy in Power 5 conferences, won 12 or more games, 9 seasons. I mean, that's crazy. That's Nick Saban-like.
Yeah, 8 arrests in a college football program. That's kind of the norm right there.
Yeah, 8 arrests in a fraternity over the course of a year. Probably about the same.
Probably
right?
a norm.
Yeah, and I agree with Troy. I think there is something that Urban's just unlikable. Like if Urban had a really bubbly personality, people would be like, well, he had 41 arrested, but he's a fun guy.
But see, I don't think, I think he's unlikable if you're playing against him. But like when I watch him on the Fox pregame show, I think he's very good. I enjoy his takes.
I don't know that he's bad,
show.
but
he's better than I thought he would be.
Yeah,
he just feels smarmy to me.
I understand. 4 downs every day. Thursday, Rockstar puts them together. They're always non-sports related. They're brought to you by our friends at Slice. 5 locations.
Yes, go see the Bajaya brothers, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers continue his legacy, Jason and Chris. 5 locations, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, and now the newest location in Edgewood, the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com. Rocky, anyway, I don't want to get on your 4 downs, but I love what we're doing first down. Can we make it 4th down?
That's what I was just going to say. I'm switching it to last. So we're going to
good.
That's going to be the last one.
First down.
When was the last time you deep cleaned your house?
Believe it or not, it was last week. I didn't do it.
Well, I was going to say,
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
But I walked into my house and I was like, this is the way it needs to be all the time.
Yeah. My wife deep cleaned it recently, and I'm trying to remember exactly why, but there was a fairly recent deep clean. And I'm like Lance. When you walk in, you can tell a difference.
Well, the reason I asked this, we have 2 cats that don't go outside. They're indoor cats. And one was, for about 3 weeks, goes, raw, and she's got raw neck, and I thought it was the male, so we took her to the vet. They have fleas.
Oh, no.
We have to flea bomb the house tomorrow, be out of the house, and they said we have to deep clean, wash every towel, wash every clothes, again, wash every bedspread and everything, and then so...
I'm itching right now just thinking about that. Have you been itching?
We have now. We come. It's not bad. Like I was like, well, it's not in Cord's crib. Nothing. Well, they said that you got to wash everything.
Yeah.
So this weekend's gonna be fun. So that's why we get a deep clean
Everything.
starting tomorrow night.
We had a flea problem because back when I was a kid, the dogs were outside all the time, and they were no leash laws in the mud puddle. So dogs just ran around with
That's
each
right.
other in
Yeah.
packs, and they'd come home at night.
That's where we were in Forestbrook, man. They ran in packs.
Yeah, and occasionally they would come in the house, but usually it was an outside dog. And if you want to see fleas in your house, throw something down white, like a white towel, a white
Right,
sock.
and they get on it?
They jump on the white, and obviously you can see them better on the white when it jumps on there.
Bad news, that's your skin, Rockstar.
Yeah, I was about to say, Rockstar lays around naked. They're all over
I
it.
know.
I can see it then.
I would even joked with Maggie right before she went to Duke this last time for her 2 weeks on campus. She spent like the day and a half, 2 days before that deep cleaning the house. And I joked when I came home and she was doing it, I was like, you are coming back, right? You're not just trying to get the deposit.
Does she leave you spending money when she goes?
She does. She does.
There's pizza money on the counter. Sweet.
Yeah.
Soresto collar, Troy says. Rockstar, Soresto. Soresto. He says it will change your life. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, we're a little late in the game for that now.
My dog.
Plan ahead.
When my dogs go to regular vet appointments and they get some kind of treatment for
They
that
rub that thing on the back of their neck.
Yeah.
that
to keep
glue.
it from happening.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Second down.
What is the scariest moment you have had on a vacation?
I took little man to Atlantis, just me and him on a spring break. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. And when we were coming back, we were leaving the resort at like 4 or 5 in the morning to get to the airport. And so the only taxi out there was kind of an unmarked minivan, and I got in it. And it was one of the shadiest looking dudes ever. And he had 2 cell phones, and he was on the other cell phone. And I just had this gut feeling. I was like, let's get out. And we got out. And I think about that all the time. Like if we would have stayed in there, if you've been to Nassau, if you're outside of the resort, it's not the nicest area. And I don't know, it was just a weird situation. Just didn't want to put Jack in that situation. It's a weird one, but
No, it's a very strange one, but I can see how scary that is. And I guess, mine is a flight. I mean, does that count? We were on vacation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I told the story on the Mystery Fifth Hour on our travel issues. It was the one where we're flying, a ski trip, and it got rough coming down to Minneapolis. And the couple that was with us that we knew that had been on a flight once, when they said their goodbyes to one another. The flight had gotten so bad they thought it was going to crash. They said their goodbyes to one another. They looked nervous, and that was what made me nervous, was that they looked nervous because they've actually lived through it. And you can go watch that Mystery Fifth Hour just a couple of weeks ago where we all told our worst travel stories.
5th year anniversary, we went back to the same resort in Jamaica that we had our honeymoon.
The nudie resort?
Grand Lido and Negril. I was not in the best shape of my life on the day we got married, but I was in better shape than I was 5 years into marriage. 5 years, 1 kid into marriage now at that point. Not that I delivered, but
I was about to say.
I put on the baby
I'm
weight
glad
with Maggie.
You were able to shake that weight.
Haven't bounced back yet.
So the first trip, we were just Dave's Bar, I think it's called. They jump off cliffs by
Right.
it in the grill. We were on this excursion on the catamaran.
Rick's Cafe.
Rick's Cafe, that's what it was.
Dave's Bar.
Dave's Bar, downtown. We're on the catamaran tour, and then we stop, and there's a place where you grab hold and you sort of slide down a wire and then
Zip
let
line?
go and drop into the water. What's it
Yeah,
called?
zip line.
Okay, but you're not strapped in. You're doing your own
Yeah.
body weight.
Yeah.
And everyone's doing it. I'm a few red stripes into my afternoon and maybe a little of the local leaf. And,
God, the local
and Maggie
leaf.
goes first.
Local leaf.
Maggie goes first.
Yeah.
No problem. Everybody's no problem. I don't think you really realize how heavy you are until there is not earth under you anymore.
You're trying to lift yourself up.
So here I go.
Or if you've ever done a pull-up.
I
change your life.
barely make it off.
Right.
I barely make it to the water edge. Thank goodness it was deep at the beginning. I came this close. Even the guy, when I got back in the catamaran, said, "You almost didn't make it over the rocks."
And to a guy that can't swim.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be
all
really
that.
bad.
Yeah. So they were down in the catamaran was down below you, and you had easy people, life jackets and stuff.
Damn, and you were naked, right?
No, I had a very small swimsuit on.
Floppy disk.
But
Very small.
It wasn't going to matter once I was on the rocks. Barely made it over the rocks, he said. because I went off the edge and instantly it was like, oh, I'm slipping, and boom, it was done, barely in the water. So that was the closest I come to death on vacation.
Third down.
What's the worst thing you could say to somebody in the elevator?
Everybody's about to die.
That's pretty bad. Yeah.
I mean, in
And hit
today's
five,
society, like if you were on a crowded elevator and somebody just, everybody's about to die.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd freak the F out, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah, I would.
At that point, there'd be 3 P corners at that point in the elevator.
I just created one.
It happened yesterday. On the way up here, we have one elevator. I call it number 1. I guess officially it's number 3. I don't know. It's the elevator.
The middle one's the best.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
The
one closest to us has always been sketchy.
I won't ride it on weekends.
Yeah, I don't ride it anytime. Frankly, if it ever opens and I'm by myself in the lobby, I just reach in, press 4, let it close, and then call another elevator.
I'm riding up with 2 other people who work on this and a delivery guy who's walking in with us. And the delivery guy's got his little headset on, so he'd been talking to somebody. And we get on, and I'm like, 4th floor, and everybody's going to the 4th floor, no problem. And I said, well, I'm Jim, just in case the elevator gets stuck like it usually does. And he's like, the delivery guys, what are you talking about?
I'm Jim. I'm gonna go
Oh my God! Okay,
I'm going to go and reintroduce
I
myself.
didn't get your name.
And the other 2 people are like, oh, this one gets stuck all the time. And he instantly, we're not even to the 2nd floor ding yet. He's like, I've never been stuck in the elevator. Are you serious? Like, you could tell he was
panicked
he was
already.
concerned.
Yeah.
And we're like, it won't be long.
Do you think some hourly guys wouldn't mind getting stuck in the elevator?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
As long as they had a Diet Coke on them and cigarettes.
And their phone.
Yeah, and their phone.
I don't bump into our cleaning person anymore in the bathroom. Forrester did yesterday.
She clearly listens to the show now.
Yeah. But
I'm Jim.
she is the slowest walker.
Oh, I think all she does is go bathroom to bathroom.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
she
go to
is
each
the
floor.
the other lady. I mean, it was like she was cleaning the bathroom every hour.
Well, that's because you had her all caffeined up.
Every hour. This lady, I was watching her walk from one end of the hall to the other yesterday, and I'm like, she's not going to be back up here today. It's going to take her 8 hours to do all 4 floors.
4th down.
All right, this is the visual aspect. I asked you guys if you had to enter a picture from your phone in a best photo contest, which would you submit?
Who is the fastest to return it?
Oh, Dunaway was immediate. And I was like, wow.
No, he told me this last night at trivia, and I was like, is it a selfie?
Well, this is something you want to submit. So we'll start with Dunaway. Okay. Hold on, Scott.
There we go. Oh, wow, Jim.
Yeah.
You
Very,
bring
let's get an
JC into
explanation.
this.
Yeah.
This was Easter morning sunrise service 2019 at Asbury United Methodist Church. And as the service was wrapping up, the sun was hitting right on our old wooden cross that we have up there.
It's a beautiful image, but you've got some kind of reflection over here to the right. The
Lens
sun's
flare.
not really centered.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not really a
That's
professional
gonna tear
picture.
it
No, it
apart.
actually is a professional picture, LT, because you see the trees are lined up on the visual thirds there, which draw your attention to the center of the screen. And you don't want the sun directly behind the cross at that point because it would then be blocking out the
It's
sun.
hard for sun to be bright in a picture, but your sun is bright in the picture. Like, I can barely look at it.
Lance does not like your photo of the cross of Christ.
I think that was a fantastic photo. Feel free to use this on any image you want.
Jim
for
will
your
send it
piece
to
of-
you.
Well,
yeah.
will anybody else chime in? I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, Lance, I'm not going to tear it apart. I think it's a very.
There's a lens flare.
I
That's
do
the
see
only
the
thing I'd
lens
say.
flare. It was not the first thing that jumped out at me. I'm with Jim. He's got it nice and centered, and I do like the fact that he didn't just do the sun in the center of the cross. There's a lot to like about that photo. I like the meaning behind it. I'm assuming y'all had a good sunrise service. You were thankful Christ died for your sins and rose
right.
again on the 3rd day.
I'll tell you, if the cross wasn't there, though, I'd be like, there's a shallow grave.
Well, I mean,
Or a very small person taking the photo.
it was an above ground grave, Lance, and he walked right out of it. So that's the good
Very
news.
true,
It's
very
good
true.
news.
By the way, it's a very tall cross. You can see it from down anywhere and down in that shopping center below it.
You can, yes. All right.
Next one. This is Lance.
Jim, you want to tear Lance's apart?
I don't know how you can. Look at that athletic ladybird.
It is not centered.
That is a full,
She's not in the center.
Well, because she wasn't in the center of the path there.
Dunaway would have had her squared
This is
up.
out running the trail. This was last spring, early spring. But, I mean, that's full extension. That's nothing but athleticism, nothing but a beautiful species.
Jumping the log.
Incredible dog. You guys don't like that picture?
Oh, it's fine.
That's a fine picture.
It's.
We're all so critical of everything.
No, I'm not critical.
No,
It's
that's
a good
just,
picture.
I mean, that's
I
a
just-
picture you just can't find. Like anybody go stand outside of a cross and take a picture.
Right.
That is
Anybody
like,
do that.
that's an action
Right,
shot.
Sunrise.
We put this to a vote.
No, I'm just saying that I had mine in last night. When did you put yours in? 5 minutes ago.
Well,
I forgot about
I don't
it.
think it was a deadline. I put mine in the last
Well,
break.
I mean,
Deadline
it
would
could
like to
use
be
more
before
color,
shows.
but other than that, Lady Bird's a beautiful animal. I'm
Yeah,
not
well,
gonna,
I mean,
I'm-
I don't know how to use filters like you.
Yeah.
It is very wintry. Is that in the winter?
Early March.
Early March? Okay.
Yeah. So winter, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Speaking of,
Wow, that's beautiful, Rockstar.
There's a meaning behind this one.
Okay.
This is August 29th, 2011.
is that the Tom Bigby?
This
Black
is in
Warrior?
This is in Selma. This is
Oh, is this the one?
This is the place where the crocodiles and the alligators ate all the jokes and
It's-
laughter from our speaking engagement.
Probably the hardest I've ever laughed at.
So that is
Rockstar.
the Tom Bigby, isn't it?
So that's
Yeah.
I took a photo. I thought,
Yeah,
I don't know what
maybe it is.
I thought it was ours at the Alabama River.
I
don't think it's
the
the Alabama yet.
Bigby might hit Selma.
Yeah, rolls. I think that runs into.
I'll look it up. So, do you want to tell the story real quick? I mean,
Was it this? It was a Selma Quarterback Club. We
That's
were
right.
asked to do to talk to the people outside a pool, and this
it was a massive
River.
house, like it looked
Yeah.
kind of like an old school plantation house, and there was this huge backyard that backed up to the Alabama River, and there was this large deck on the Alabama River, and that's where we spoke. And we brought Rockstar. We're like, Rockstar will sing a song. We speak, and we try to make them laugh, and nobody would laugh. So at the end, I mean, we bombed. We absolutely bombed. We tried everything we had. We bombed.
Tough crowd, though.
and
crowd.
I had to, first I had to do a Dr. Lou bit.
Yeah.
that was just
Didn't work.
bombed from beginning to end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
then
I
had
think
the
that was
guitar.
my fault. I think I came up with, why don't you do a Dr.
Yeah,
Luke?
that
And then we bombed, and then we're like, Rockstar, sing a song, and Rockstar sings a song about how the alligators in the Alabama River ate everybody's laughs.
Yeah,
And we're
it's bad.
laughing, and everybody's looking at us like we're a bunch of idiots, but I laughed.
It's 2011.
They invited us back. by the
Yeah,
way.
we got invited back like 3 years later, and it went about as good as it did the first time.
Except we were inside.
Except we were inside, and they were really nice about it. I'm like, I guess they just don't laugh.
So that's my submission. And the
That's
final-
really good.
Thank you. And the final submission would be Ryan Brown, if I can get to it.
So mine goes back to Snowmageddon, whatever year that was.
Oh, I have this picture on my phone.
That is
And-
2014.
This was right after our show was over. We were evacuating the building, Lance and I, and Feinbaum had gotten stuck. The radio station studio was at the top of a very steep hill, and that hill iced very, very quickly, and cars blocked that hill. And Feinbaum got stuck at the bottom and had to walk up the hill to get to the studio and missed the start of his show.
Well, here's what I would ask. I mean, I really don't remember that, but how in the hell did he get out of there? Because
That's a great question.
we barely got out of there.
Well, he had left his car at the bottom of the hill.
bottom.
He had to abandon his car at the bottom
Well,
of the
see, I
hill.
didn't think he ever drove. I thought he got dropped off every day.
Well, he had time to go to Starbucks that morning.
Yeah, so that's what's great about it is in Snowmageddon, Paul still makes the Starbucks stop.
Yep.
Is that just a snowflake on his left foot? It looks like he's got Nike slides on.
No, he ruined those shoes. That's the other funny part about it is he's wearing
Suede,
like,
right?
I think
I
they
had-
were black suede shoes. Or
I
something
had
like that.
suede on. You remember
Yeah,
trying
I
to walk
do.
down
I
the
do remember that.
Green Springs Highway?
And so Paul, Paul is one of the most even-keeled, laid-back guys you'll ever be around. I've never seen him lose his temper one time, and he was so pissed. We were snapping that photo of him, and we were laughing at him.
But this was back when he was based out of our studios
Yeah.
in Birmingham,
Yep.
and it was a regional show. Wasn't on the SEC network yet. I just didn't think Paul, if it was hard to get to work, I think to me he would have tapped out and done best up.
I was a little surprised he was there. I'm with you. I kind of respected it, to be honest with you.
I think he was probably caught up in his
Yeah.
his
You also
Contract negotiations for his next big deal.
Then I was just gonna say his commute.
got a perfect snowflake to make it look like he has that piece of tape over the glasses.
I
Like
know,
nerds
like
used to
in
do.
the center of the glasses.
Well, hey, and go down to the shoe though. It looks like he's got a script A on his left pocket, and then he's got a Nike sign right there, the swoosh.
It looks like the soccer sandals.
Yeah, he ruined him. He was so frustrated when he got to the top of that hill.
All
And
right,
that's 4 downs.
that's 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations. Stop in, pick up a pizza today from the Hot Mama to the Bajaya special. You're going to absolutely love it. I got the wing and the prayer and the half spicy Hawaiian just last week. 5 locations. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right, we'll do our 40 and 40 team coming up a little bit later on in the show as we're into the top 25 at number 25. Auburn was the team yesterday at 26. You can go back and get all of our coverage of that on our social media platform at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live. Our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa also bringing you part of the show today.
Yeah, pick up the gift of luxury from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Get in, see Stuart and all the fine folks up there located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Stop in. They've got a menu of over 70 options. They've been voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, conveniently located at the Summit Shopping Centers. You can order that special person gift online 24/7. All you got to do is go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. 70 different options, massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Stop by. Tell them the Next Round sent you, or online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or The Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. Braves in action tonight. I told you about the White Sox losing streak. On the MLB Network, you can get the Cubs and the Reds at 6:10. Our Precision Sports Precision Moment of the Day in baseball happened yesterday when we had rookie Paul Skenes against Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers. First time up, Skenes strikes him out on 3 pitches. 101.3 miles per hour, 100.1 miles per hour, 100.8 miles per hour, 3 strikes and you're out, Shohei Ohtani. Next time up, first pitch, 100.8, swing and a miss by Ohtani, works the count to 3-2. He throws that 100-mile-per-hour fastball again. Ohtani has it timed up. Home run.
And the first Skenes fastball he has given up for a home run this season. You know, Skenes, I didn't see this game playing out. We had the Pirates yesterday at Lance'sLog.com.
They won.
But I didn't see a 10-6.
Yeah.
You know, he still had dominant stuff, but, you know, this is one of the best lineups, if not the best lineup in baseball. You know, Skenes at 6'6" with that porn stash. He is the guy when we saw the white van cruising the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, you'd worry about that guy.
Jumped out.
Son,
he'd scare you to death.
Son, you stay away from me.
Alabama basketball morning and pictures. Two things coming up in just a second from Tuscaloosa. After I tell you about Precision Sports Medicine, here's what happened the other day. My daughter injured her ankle, and instead of going to the emergency room, I looked at Lance. I was like, my daughter just hurt herself. Probably should just go straight to Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Absolutely. We call Dr. Patterson, Alabaster location. He can't squeeze her in at that moment, but Brookwood's version of Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics could. They've got locations from Jasper to Alabaster, great locations everywhere. They move her in quickly, diagnose her, treat her, and will help her with rehab as well. 205-512-3885, 512-3885. Keep that number on standby, or just get details everywhere at precisionsportsortho.com/2024. precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Orthopedic care, better together. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics there. All right, let's go first with Aaron Suttles, our friend of the show. He's over there with Yay, Alabama, and on campus. I've got a pronunciation, by the way. Cliff Omori. Omori is how we say it. Omori.
Okay, I was going to Moray, but
Cliff Omori from two different locations.
Can Chris Stewart still, when he dunks, say, that's Omori?
I'm just going to flip a vowel there.
That's Omori.
Omori. And Cliff is in Tuscaloosa in the hallway with Aaron Suttles behind him.
He's a big
standing
dude.
next to
Looks
Cliff.
like the Predator.
Standing next to Cliff, there is 0% chance that I could get a shot anywhere close to the rim in his vicinity.
I mean, that is kind of a cramped hallway if you've ever been there in
But
Cole
still,
McCullough Sim.
that wingspan probably goes wall to wall.
Yeah, you can touch wall to wall, and it looks like he's got a duck to walk through the hallway.
Yeah, I mean, that beam is coming up mid Memorial Coliseum hallway. Looks like he's going to have to duck to get under.
Duck Cliff.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, don't
he's
you
a
think he'd be a
big
good
dude.
goalie in soccer?
Looks like he would be. So can't wait to see him. But Alabama's coming off their magical Final Four run last year. And Greg Byrne and Nate Oats have a new addition to their offices. What do you think it is, guys?
Trophies?
It's a chair.
A chair.
The Final Four bench chair.
That's pretty cool.
Greg Byrne just added a new piece of fine furniture to the office. Nate Oats, I heard you may have gotten one too.
Well, I mean,
Hashtag Roll Tide.
It's perfect for recruiting.
That really is.
Why don't you come sit in the Final Four chair right here?
I wonder how, I mean.
Now, Dan Hurley's got, some net on his. But
Probably took the whole bench with him.
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder who all gets one. If I win the championship, do I just take the whole bench that night? Like, everybody grab your chair and take it with you.
Or is it like were people there at the Slippery Field in Phoenix in Glendale afterwards? Like, could Little T and I have grabbed one after the UConn game and walked out with it?
Potentially. I don't know.
Y'all remember the story, the troubled Marcus Webb who played for Wimp Sanderson?
Yeah.
They went into practice, and Wimp was looking around, and he's like, where are our chairs? And one of the managers was like, Marcus took him to his apartment.
He's got new furniture.
Yeah, so Marcus Webb had all these bench chairs all over his
Instead of a
apartment.
couch.
The assistants had to go get the bench chairs from Marcus Webb.
All right. So that's a little basketball in pictures this morning.
Nick's right. The champs do get the floor. I remember Florida, when
that's
they
right.
won back-to-back, they're like, listen, we had a floor already. We just got a new floor. Now we want it again. We don't have anywhere to put these floors. What do you want us to do?
Some take them and put them in their practice facility.
Right. And I think Florida had done that. I think they had moved their old floor to their practice facility. Like, we got 3 floors now. We don't know what to do with all these.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting to see the Final Four chair roll in. When we come back, we will jump into some college football news and unveil our 40 and 40 team. I want you guys to do your dry erase board like this. Give me a confident, a positive, a shaky, and a negative. Or you don't even have to do the dry erase board. These are your answers. You're confident in a coach, positive, shaky, and negative. I've got 8 coaches I'm going to bounce off of you when we come back, and I want to know if you're confident he's going to get the job done, positive he's going to get the job done, shaky, or negative. Negative. When we come back on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap.
823-2212. That is the number you need to call. 45% off the retail price right now. Cap it, don't snap it. It's a dirty, dangerous job. Chris Stewart will come out He'll give you that free estimate. They'll clean the gutters one final time. Then they'll put that aluminum panel system. It fits over most existing gutters. It will keep all debris out. Again, 205-823-2212. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall. Snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212. Guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Our 40 and 40 team in just a second. The NFL is this. I'm going to predict right here, Forrester, if I get Forrester's mic. Campbell, I know. Rockstar, chime in. I think that what I'm about to do, this NFL story, Forrester, will touch a nerve with these two, especially Lance. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, very good sound of the mic. Rockstar.
Good. I love when you touch my nerve.
Yeah. You.
It's not Rams.
It's not Rams. It's
It
NFL.
has nothing to do with Rams?
You don't know what the story is, I don't think, Rockstar. So
I
you
have no
can't.
idea,
You can't. Has LT ever had a hot take on DirecTV in the past?
A couple.
It's funny. I was at Walk-Ons a couple of days ago, and I was watching our friend Ken West flip that DirecTV, and I was like, how much longer? Like, I know they grandfathered sports bars in. Oh, okay.
The NFL is facing its biggest legal challenge maybe ever. Maybe ever. They are part of a $2.4 billion suit that's been filed against the NFL season ticket by a number of fans.
Sunday ticket or season ticket?
Sunday ticket.
Sunday ticket.
Sunday
You said
ticket.
season ticket. I didn't know. Okay,
Sunday
Sunday
ticket.
ticket. All right.
Multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. I think 2.4 million subscribers have signed this class action. They're saying that they artificially increase prices, artificially increase the pricing. 48,000 bars and restaurants are part of the class action suit.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it all
But
here.
how
So-
can you like, if you want to take up the price on something, like, I bet there was a time where the Yeti was a little bit more inexpensive than it is
Probably
now.
so. Supply and demand fix that, right?
$21 billion. I was wrong on the
Okay.
number. $21 billion is what the lawsuit is seeking, that they have artificially raised the pricing to make the prices go up to where it was $349, I think, last year to get Sunday ticket.
I said years ago it was the best value in sports. I still think at $350, if you can watch your team out of market for 17 weeks.
What is $350 divided by 17?
Oh, I don't know, $25 a game, if that.
Brown is on to where this could end up going.
It is $20.
$20 a game.
No, a Sunday.
A Sunday.
Yeah, if you did it per game, what you're getting, I mean, it's dollars.
No, it used to be $99 a game if you wanted to do it, or $59 a game, because I think I told you guys I had to buy the game because they didn't have my Sunday ticket
So
set up.
it's $20 a Sunday, and you probably get 10 games on a Sunday ticket?
At least 10.
So it's
probably 10 to 12.
It's probably $2 a game you're paying.
Jury selection was yesterday, so they're into the trial now, where Roger Goodell, Jerry Jones, Bob Kraft, and former CBS executive Sean McManus are expected to be called as witnesses. The NFL likely to settle this at some point out of this. They believe that if they win this lawsuit, bars and consumers will be able to buy team-only Sunday ticket.
Ooh, I like this now.
So this is...
But Brownie, I think, touched on something. Remember when we all used to complain about cable and the cable prices, and we wanted, let's be a-la-carte. Well, what has happened with our a-la-carte streaming?
Well, it's gotten expensive.
Now it's almost, it is. It's more than my cable bill used to be when I've got all the streaming services. It's $20 a game or a weekend basically right now. If they go a-la-carte, it could end up being, where it's more than $20 for you to get the Dolphins game every week.
So they've done this before, not with football, but in 1997 when I started my relationship, whatever you want to call it, with DirecTV, and I had all my sports packaging, and I used to stay up and watch all Dodgers games on the extra innings, and I would stay up and watch all Lakers games. But you had NBA League Pass where you would pay, $189 a year, or you could just do a Lakers team pass is what it was called.
Right.
And because there wasn't a ton of demand for it, it only lasted a couple of years and it kind of went away. I don't think this is going to work in the NFL either. Like, I would rather pay a little bit more and have all the games. And I think there's a reason, like, people that gamble, people that play fantasy, they want to be able to see everything.
I would imagine when they do this, if they eventually do this, like the Dolphins would be $18 just to get that game, or you can get all Sunday for $25. And you're like, I'm just going to pay $7 more. And nobody's ever going to just do the $18 to see the Dolphins or the Giants or whoever.
Right.
I mean, but for me, like, I would think about it this year because looking at the Dolphins' schedule, they play 5 primetime games. And then I started looking at the ones I think will be available in Birmingham. Really, just to watch the Dolphins on Sunday ticket, I'm probably only going to need Sunday ticket five Sundays. When I looked at it, the 4 or 5 Sundays, I think I'm only going to need it. I mean, that does start to make a little sense.
I know, but I still would pay $300 to see a game. I'm probably in the minority.
It's not breaking news, but it is the first step to what could be the biggest landmine that we talk about in show history. Forrester, hold it. After LT tells us about HydroLife, could be if this follows through.
There's no way this could be the biggest.
Could be the biggest landmine in show history, and quickest landmine in show history. That we can talk about after HydroLife.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof, completely turnkey. You can boost your immune system with HydroLife therapy, IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost your immune system, and much more. Ask about the membership benefits. You basically recoup your IV membership fee in just one visit. You're going to get a free IV bag per month, every month with the membership right there at HydroLife. HydroLife Therapy, open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 2 locations in Birmingham, the original in Homewood. There is one now on Highway 119 in Greystone, one in Tuscaloosa as well. While you're in one of these great locations, mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off any of the great services from our friends at HydroLife. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
Listen, there is still, in my opinion, no way this happens. 0%. 0%.
You hate when I say absolutes, and you just went 0%.
Yeah, you really did. You hate Lance's absolutes, and you just absoluted this one.
But Jeff Goodman of Field of 68 and has worked with people all the time. I always feel like he and Bruce Pearl and the Pearl family don't get along. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. It's just,
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think Auburn fans like him.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Remember when they did the Alabama-Auburn same day?
Yeah.
And he was talking. I heard him talk the night before on their podcast about, it'll be fine, Jeff, in Tuscaloosa. But when you go to the night game at Auburn, you think you're going to be able to get into the arena? Or they're going to give you a hard time? Right. So I don't know what Jeff Goodman has done over the years to Auburn fans, but I've always respected his basketball knowledge. Show him, Forrester. On 3 Sports, Bruce Pearl is the, quote, only name to replace Dan Hurley at UConn if he leaves for the LA Lakers, according to Jeff Goodman.
You know, I just had a conversation in one of the back offices during break. If Dan Hurley turns this job down and the Lakers go for another college coach, who would it be?
Not Bruce Pearl.
No, it'd be Nate Oats.
Nate Oats, probably. You're right. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Because sophisticated offense.
The same thing you're getting with Dan Hurley without the championship.
That's right. Nate Oats runs the offense, but I don't know if the Lakers can afford an $11 million buyout.
Anyway, with that said, this could affect something in state. It could. I doubt it. I'm kind of with you.
I mean,
0%.
I brought it up just because Pearl is from that part of the country, number one. He is an excellent basketball coach, number two. Now, the age and potentially the buyout. I mean, Bruce is 61 now. Is that right?
Yeah, and I don't know if the age matters. I mean,
I'd take 5 to 8 years of Bruce.
Jim Calhoun, old crusty dude, he seemed like he was always 70 years old, and it always worked.
I would say if Bruce thought he would take the UConn job and Stephen got the Auburn job,
that's what I was about to say. If there is a guarantee that if I leave, Stephen gets the Auburn job with this great roster, then that's the only way I would do it as a father.
Yeah. Now, I will say, somebody reminded me when I brought up Bruce Pearl earlier, and I didn't think we were going to get back to it, so I just ignored this text. I had forgotten this. David Benedict is the athletics director at UConn. Do you know where UConn hired David from? Auburn. He was the chief operation officer for Auburn Athletics when Bruce Pearl was hired, as I was reminded via text earlier. Now,
I will just say this. Out of hopes for Nelly the Vizsla, Stephen Pearl and his wife Vizsla, he doesn't want to go up to stores. They hate cold weather.
Yeah.
But
I just don't think it would be fair.
The only way Bruce leaves is if Stephen gets the Auburn job, and I don't think Bruce is leaving. This is Jeff Goodman, though, who's...
Well, trust me. I mean, they ain't giving Stephen the Auburn job if Bruce leaves.
I will say,
you
though...
don't think so?
If Bruce is like, I'm going to UConn...
If he retires, maybe, but if he leaves to go to UConn, I do think it hits different.
Yeah,
I agree with Lance.
Totally different.
Yeah.
There's zero chance. If he leaves to go to UConn, Stephen gets that job.
I would like to think that Bruce Pearl...
I'll double down on your zero.
I would like to think...
If he leaves to go to UConn, you don't think Stephen gets the Auburn job?
No.
I think it is... I'm not going to say 100% he doesn't, but I do think it's different than him just retiring. Now, I would like to think we live in a world where if Bruce Pearl took the UConn job, again, I'm with you, I don't think he'll do it. Jeff Goodman mentions it, I don't think he'll do it. I like to think we live in a world where Auburn fans would say, thank you, Bruce. Our program was, without doubt, the worst in the SEC, and you took us to a Final Four and made us a national contender. We appreciate it. We may name the court after you. We'll never have anything but love for Bruce Pearl.
I agree with you. I think there's zero chance he takes this job.
I do, too.
And I think if Bruce stays, and much like Brown said, if he retires at Auburn, I think Stephen's got a ton of upside, and I think out of gratitude for the Pearl family, I think Stephen would get that job. But if you leave for UConn, I don't think he gets a job.
No, LT, I think it has to be Stephen Pearl at that time because you've got a roster that is preseason top 10, and the way you keep that roster together is Stephen Pearl getting that job.
Well,
that's it would be the only choice.
Okay, well, if that's the case, which I don't believe it would be, then if I'm Bruce and I know my kid's going to get the job, then maybe I take UConn.
Yeah, that's the only way it's in play to me. I don't think it happens. But if it did happen, if Jeff Goodman happens to be right about this one time, then Stephen Pearl is the only choice for me because he's the best chance of keeping those 10, 11, 12 guys together right now. That's a top 10 roster, a national championship contender next year. And if I'm going to award him the job later on, if I think he's good enough to take over when Bruce retires in a year or 2 or 3, then why not just go ahead and give it to him now instead of 2 years from now?
Let me quickly say, though, let me say on the front end of this, I don't think what I'm about to say is a big issue for Bruce Pearl. Okay, so let me say that on the front end. I don't know that it is. Let me rephrase what I'm saying. I don't know that it's a issue for Bruce Pearl. But I don't know about you guys, but for the first time this year, I started to hear some Bruce Pearl criticism from Auburn fans. We haven't really heard a lot of that. But that early exit against Yale, I started hearing Auburn fans like, man, I love me some Bruce, but come on, man. We can't be Final Four and nothing in this program.
I would say this. If you took the Final Four run away, which you can't.
Well, he's never made it past the round of 32, and that's what everybody's saying.
Then I think it would be nonstop criticism.
And I had a close friend who was at the annual Bruce Pearl golf tournament down at Willow Point a couple of weeks ago, Jim. And Bruce spoke to the crowd and said, and these are pretty big Auburn people, right? Football and basketball.
That's right.
And Bruce spoke to the crowd and said something along the lines of, where were all you guys in Spokane? I know we didn't show up, but y'all didn't show up either, and kind of laughed about it. And now my buddy was like, I had no problem with it. He laughed. It was clearly a joke. He said, but I can tell you a lot of people around me had a problem with what he said right there. That they just felt like it was, him not taking the blame for the Yale loss. And I'm like, boy, is that Yale loss sticking with him that much for all he's done for that program? And he's like, yeah, for a lot of the fans it has. And they just felt like he was almost trying to shed the blame there a little bit.
First off, Dan Hurley has not left UConn for the Lakers.
I don't think he will. I'm sticking by that.
Though of our 5 TVs, that story is consistently on one of the TVs all the time this morning. At some point, Dan Hurley is on one of these screens at all time here.
Yep. Just as you said, he popped right back up with them talking all about it.
It's almost like it's bouncing from screen to screen here. So Dan Hurley to the Lakers is a real conversation. Jeff Goodman of On3 Sports says if he leaves to the Lakers, that in his opinion, only one name should be looked at for the job. He believes Bruce Pearl would be that perfect fit. A lot of ifs, ands, and buts in that conversation, but wanted to pass it along so you can go and enjoy that on social media throughout your workday today. Keep America moving, whatever you're doing at work today. But, while you listen to us, surf the net and see what's happening with that UConn job and maybe other things happening. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Again, LT, tell us about Hemp Hill. We'll go Buster Olney on the other side to talk a little baseball with us.
205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hang out with the next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the next round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Again, we'll keep you posted on the maybe changing basketball coaching landscape with Dan Hurley. We'll get back to college football later as well. But in baseball terms, you Braves fans in the area excited that you can watch for free today on MLB TV. It's the free game. The Braves and the Nationals off of a 9-0 loss last night to Boston. I saw one site's team rankings that the Braves are down around the 6th or 7th best team in the league now.
Right.
I wonder what Buster thinks of where Atlanta is and where they're going right now.
Well, he joins us now, so you'll be able to ask him that, Jim.
The timing is amazing.
Yes, it's incredible. ESPN's Buster Olney with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, Buster. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I think that's a fair, given how they've been playing of late, given where their offensive issues are. But I do think that there's a room for growth there because that eventually the offense is going to be better. And that at some point there before the trade deadline, Alex Anthopoulos is going to do his thing, and they're going to get some help in some kind of a deal. The question is, unlike last year, where it felt like the Phillies were not a great regular season team, that team is remarkable. And, the question is whether or not the Braves will be able to sort of hang with them during the course of the regular season.
I don't know if it impacts your son. You've told us your son's a big Braves fan, but there are a lot of people around here that can't even watch this team, Buster. I mean, it is really, really sad. There, in the Deep South, a lot of passionate Braves fans. And even in the city of Atlanta, Comcast is one of the biggest cable providers in Atlanta. In their own city, Jim was not joking when he's like, Braves fans are excited because they can actually watch them today. It's incredible how long so many people have not been able to see this team here.
Yeah, so I as you started that, I was like, yeah, my son's the same way because they keep losing these excruciating games, and he just can't bring himself. I've gotten more texts from my son saying, I'm done. That's it. I can't watch him. And then, of course, he is watching the next day. Look, with the TV situations and, the different cable agreements and the RSNs, it's ugly right now and it stinks. How difficult that is. My son is fortunate, quite literally, because I have an MLB.TV subscription and he borrows my password and he watches the games. The truth is, but you really hope they work it out. And it does feel like that's the big question for one of the big questions for baseball going forward. Can they get their TV situation, to a point where the NFL did, where you can just sell the sport nationally rather than have this confederacy of 30 teams selling, their rights individually and getting into these situations?
First, Commissioner Manfred would like you to not loan out your passwords. He would like everyone to buy one. Secondly, 8 games back of the Phillies. It's June. This is usually when you declare it's over.
Oh, no, don't do that to Buster.
Is it over?
Wow, that is a 2-year scab you are pulling right there.
He won't let go.
we want to crank those T-shirts up again.
Oh, man. I'm not going to declare, okay? I've been burned in the past. I'm not ready to declare that division is over. I would say just being around the Phillies, and especially when you're around them in Citizens Bank Park, that home field advantage right now is the best in baseball. That is an excellent team. And like Alex Anthopoulos, Dave Dombrowski, their general manager, has a long history of making aggressive trades at the deadline. That is a formidable team right now for the Braves, which is part of why it's so fun.
Yeah, best record in baseball, 44-19, along with the New York Yankees. And pretty amazing, Yankees doing it without the reigning Cy Young Award winner in Gerrit Cole. What is the latest on the 34-year-old Gerrit Cole and where he is on this rehab?
So he threw 45 pitches in his first rehabilitation appearance the other day, fastball up to 97 miles per hour. And he said he felt great and all things look good. Now, I asked in the aftermath of that, hey, are you guys going to fast track him? And the answer was no. I think he's going to get at least 2 more minor league starts. One presumably will be Sunday or Monday. I haven't pinned that down today. And then, another one after that. And then they bring him in, they bring him into the conversation. And a couple things worth remembering. One, he's coming back from an elbow issue. He says he feels great. He says it's going great. You just have to keep that in the back of your mind, that you do wonder if there might be a reoccurrence at some point. And 2, Luis Gil, who's been the best pitcher in baseball. I mean, this is someone who, in late February, the Yankees reassigned to the minor league camp because he was coming back from Tommy John surgery, and they wanted to make sure that he was okay physically, and he basically pitched his way onto the team. He has not thrown a lot of innings in any season. When I talked to Brian Cashman, the Yankees general manager, earlier this week, he told me that's something they're going to be monitoring. And so Gil has been incredible. He's pitching on Sunday Night Baseball against the Dodgers this week. We can't wait to have him. But you do wonder if late in the second half or sometime they're going to back off him a little bit because he just hasn't pitched that many innings in any season.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Buster. You get to see him in Yankees-Dodgers Sunday night ESPN. And I looked at it when you brought him up to see if anybody had faced him twice because, as you mentioned, he hasn't pitched a lot. The Jays did, and he lost that second appearance against the Jays. As teams see him twice now, I mean, that's got to be a fear, right? Is once they get a second shot at him, they'll catch up to him some.
It's got to be a fear. I would say this. I mean, we're all talking about Paul Skenes' fastball and how dominant he is. Luis Gil has a great fastball as well, and he just goes after hitters with it. And I just got done talking with the son of Alabama, Jake Peavy. I interviewed him for my podcast just before I got on with you guys, and he made this great point. The 2 guys who are pitching on Sunday Night Baseball, Luis Gil has one of the biggest neck tattoos you've ever seen. And Jake said, if you got a neck tattoo, that says a lot about your personality, right? You are out there, and he's pitching against Tyler Glasnow, who doesn't look like this. But the first time I ever talked to him, I said, hey, do you have any tattoos? Assuming the answer was no, because I couldn't see them. And he goes, yeah, I lost a bet. And he lowered his lower lip. He said, I put one right here because I lost a bet in high school. So these are 2 guys who are dominant, who their placement of their tattoos will tell you something about their personalities.
Well, it makes our bets look weak.
It does. It does. Buster Olney is with us here. Listen, I want to, embrace the A's moving to Las Vegas, but I keep seeing things that don't make sense to me. I see where they're wanting to play 8 home games at neutral site, even after they build the $1.5 billion stadium. Why do they want to do that? Why would you not want to play in a brand new stadium in Las Vegas? Why would you want to move it to neutral site games?
What does that tell you? That they're not confident that they're going to be able to sell a lot of tickets. The whole situation is mind-boggling to me. When I've talked to people at the ownership level about their situation, and what I get is concern. Like the response is, yeah, it's kind of ugly and it's not so great. And my response is, then why do you guys sit back and just kind of let it happen? That's where ownership is. I won't believe anything until somebody puts a shovel in the ground. That's my rule when it comes to both the Rays and the A's. wait for the shovel in the ground before we actually know what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns with these things before we get to that point.
Last year's World Series matchup, Diamondbacks and Rangers, both teams disappointing. You look at the Rangers, 2 games under 500, D-backs 4 games under 500. I know that Corey Seager injury is going to be something to watch, but who has been more disappointing, and who do you think has a better chance of making a postseason run?
In some ways, I think the Diamondbacks have been more disappointing. The question all along with, Corbin Carroll obviously has struggled early in the year. They've had some pitching injuries. The question all along with the Rangers has been, can they rope-a-dope it long enough with their starting pitching to hang in the race and buy time for the return of Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom and Tyler Mahle, and all those guys are making their way back. They've also lost some other guys in their rotation. And here's the thing, Seattle's played better of late, but no one has put that division to bed. If the Rangers were playing in the National League East with the Phillies, yes, I would have said it's over. It's done. But they're playing in the American League West, and you can't say that. I do think the Rangers are going to make a run at some point.
Let's end all this relocations. Just move the A's not to Vegas, move them to Salt Lake City, and move Tampa to Nashville, and let's call it a day. It would be easier that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think those are the 2 sites that'll eventually get expansion. But I think the owners are trying to thread a needle where they just want the Rays and the A's to figure out something else and keep those 2 spots open to sell $2 billion franchises.
Oh, wow.
Hey, that's an opportunity to make money.
That's why I'm the worst businessman on the show right now.
I'm curious if you know the answer to this. I was looking on ESPN this morning before you came on, and there was a video of Aroldis Chapman, age 36 now, hitting 104 plus on consecutive pitches. Are you aware of anyone of that age that still had that kind of velocity?
No. In fact, Aroldis Chapman didn't have that kind of velocity, right? It's been 6 years since he threw a ball 103, and if you're watching that game, that was remarkable. The Skenes versus Ohtani matchup was awesome, with basically 2 gunfighters, on Main Street at high noon, just showing down where Skenes is challenging Ohtani with fastballs, and he's throwing 101, 102, and Ohtani eventually hitting a home run to straightaway center field. And who would have thought that Paul Skenes would have the second best fastball in that game? Because Chapman comes out and he's throwing 103, and the Pirates broadcasters are like, that's his fastball, best fastball in 6 years. And then he beats it. He tops it. That was shocking to watch that. And I love, because the night before, Chapman had pitched and he gave up a long fly ball to center field, and he thought it was going to be a home run, and he slammed his glove on the mound in frustration. Thing he wasn't pitching for the Mets, they would have released him on the spot.
2 great sports brands, 2 great uniforms, a great venue, Dodgers, Yankees, Sunday night, 6 o'clock ESPN. It is hard to top those 2 brands and those 2 uniforms playing on the same field there. And Buster will be there in Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. You can see that 6 o'clock Sunday night ESPN. Thank you very much, Buster. Enjoy that game. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Good to talk with you guys.
All right, you too. Take care. Buster with us each week at that time, courtesy of the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Okay, we'll do our 40 and 40 team right now, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. They bring us our 40 and 40 team. I will tell you, I haven't told you yet, but coming up at the top of the hour, friend of the show, a guy's been on, I think, 3 times since I've been part of the show, I think. For the 4th time, Gary Owen joins the show. Comedian Gary Owen with us at the top of the hour coming up. So we'll get to our 40 and 40 team now, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie.ag.
That's right. You may have been there before, a casino trip with the guys or the girls, that's planned, and it just falls apart, right? And you don't get to go to the casino. Well, MyBookie has fixed that for you. They've got an improved online casino that can change the game for you. You can get truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience with the action in your hands, in your living room, in your home. You don't even have to leave. You could start today at MyBookie.ag by using promo code NEXTROUND and get that special sign-on bonus, generous sign-up bonus. They've got a revamped loyalty program, a host of VIP perks. The more you play, the more you win. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Sneaky good. Let's go to our 40 and 40 countdown. Inside our top 25 now, voted on by you guys. That iconic Wolfpack logo. NC State at 25. I love this team this year as being a dark horse to be in that ACC championship game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had them a little bit higher. I had them at 21 here. New transfer quarterback in Grayson McCall. You hope he's going to be better than Brennan Armstrong was last year for Dave Duran. Kevin Concepcion is your reigning ACC Rookie of the Year offensively, a good receiver there.
Now say that in a Vin Scully voice. He sounds
Kevin
Cohen. Well, no, I can't do it.
Concepcion.
It sounded like a middle infielder back in the 80s.
You lose one of the best defenders in all of football and your Butkus Award winner in Peyton Wilson, a guy that had 138 tackles last year. You know, they led the ACC in picks with 17. Can they replicate that? I don't know. Dave Duran, though, 9 winning seasons in 11 years, 4 9-win seasons over those 11 years. He's done a good job. He's just never been able to get over the hump. I don't think this is a great football program, but he's done a really good job with it.
To your point on that, LT, Dave Duran has done a good job, maybe a great job considering the program. He's the winningest coach in NC State history with 81 wins.
Guess he passed Chuck Amato. Was Chuck Amato the line to beat there? That who was the guy that
was he there long enough to do that?
I think so. The guy that Stallings got in the argument with was a decent coach. O'Brien, I think was his name.
But I don't think he was long enough to get 81 wins. You got to be there a while to get 81 wins.
If you can get out of the month of September with one loss,
that's tough though, Lance.
If you're 4-1 coming out of September, you can have a special 10-win season.
Yeah, I agree. And for those that haven't looked at their schedule. They open with a bit of a layup against Western Carolina, but then it gets real week 2 for that primetime ABC game at 6:30 in Charlotte. That's the thing that helps you. It's neutral site against Tennessee, but the thing that hurts you is you're playing Tennessee, probably the better team there. La Tech at home, and then you're at Clemson, and that's why, Lance, you say you got to try to get out of September with just the one loss because Tennessee and Clemson are better teams than you. You play one on neutral site and one on the road.
You do, but you've got maybe, and I don't know this, outside of...
Ooh, this is interesting what you're about to say.
Dillon Gabriel, maybe the most experienced quarterback in all of college football, and Grayson McCall, a 4-year starter at Coastal Carolina.
I thought you were going to say you've got maybe the best quarterback of those 3 teams. Tennessee, Clemson, and NC State. Is Grayson McCall the best quarterback?
Well, he's the most experienced.
Definitely
I
the
don't
most
know.
experienced.
You know, Nico, we'll see how good he is, but it's going to be week 2. His biggest challenge up until that point.
Yep.
But Grayson McCall is a guy that has started 40 games in his career. He's 33-7. I'd say a lot of collegiate starts.
But Brennan Armstrong was so good, and then when he came to NC State, it didn't work out. You just hope the same thing doesn't happen to Grayson McCall, like you were saying earlier. I got him 8-3 going into the North Carolina game.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I think 9-3 is the number.
If they can pull one of those upsets, Tennessee or Clemson, that schedule opens up after Clemson. I mean, they can go on a run after that because after that you've got NIU and Wake and Syracuse at Cal, Stanford, Duke, at Georgia Tech, and then you mentioned at Carolina to end the year in that rivalry game. I mean, if you could find a way to upset Tennessee or Clemson, you could have a special year at NC State.
Yeah. All right, that's our 40 and 40 today, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag.
All those games we just talked about, whether they're a favorite or they're a dog, whichever the case is, you can play those games at mybookie.ag. Code next round, get you that sign-on bonus. mybookie.ag, code next round. Don't forget that casino. All new casino right there in the comfort of your own home. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
All right. One more college football note real quick before we do the mental health minute. Who was it? It was Jeff who says most boring college football season ever coming up. I'll take Georgia over Ohio State in a close one for the title. That is the betting favorites with our friends at MyBookie.ag and others like BetMGM. Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas are the 3 most bet teams to win the national championship. The 4th most bet team with 4.5% of all the bets, that shows you the gap between 1, 2, 3 to 4th most bet team, is the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders. That tweet going out last night.
I mean,
That's
that's
pissing your money away.
You wonder,
that's with MGM. The MGM, the 4th most bet team to win the national championship.
If you ever wonder why you get great hotel deals and cheap food, that's why.
Yep.
They just want you coming back.
Is Deion's jaw photoshopped there? I mean, that is
it's a serious look.
Perfect picture of Deion Sanders.
Grizzled.
That's the one that you want on your Wikipedia page, or the one that when Deion retires, or when he moves on from coaching, whatever it is. That's the iconic coaching photo. That's a great looking picture.
That's him floating across the Delaware River.
Yes, with his leg up on the boat. I mean, if they were bet as the fourth most to win the Big 12, I would laugh at it. This is the fourth most to win the national championship
at MGM right now, and it's 4.5%. There's three betting favorites right now: Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas.
I will bet MGM's not an outlier there.
I bet they're not either. All right, when we come back, we've got more college football. We'll update you on some basketball news that we'll get to, but a pretty big commitment in college football up next as well. It has been Mental Health Month in May, and now PTSD is part of the conversation here in June. Brought to you by our friends at JohnsonRVCenter.com. Rockstar, give me cut number 4. LT has just done a series of podcasts that included Dr. Brett McCabe. And just where can you get the first episode, and what was your thought, LT, when you were doing these podcasts?
Well, I didn't know exactly where this was going to go. Dr. McCabe is so good at his craft. And it's one thing that not only does he know, he's so informed, he's so educated, he's written books, kick anxiety's ass, but this is a guy that has experienced it himself. So he is a guy that deals with it on a daily basis. And so I think to have that perspective along with his education and his information is absolutely fascinating. I had not one, not two, not three, but 4 different people reached out to me yesterday, thanking me personally and telling me about their struggles. And I hate hearing that, but at the same time, I love the fact that people are starting to speak out about this.
Yeah, it's available on YouTube. I watched the first one last night, or yesterday afternoon, and it was so good. Everybody just being so honest and open, including Rockstar, so good.
Dr. Brett McCabe here on getting the conversation started.
You have to be open and vulnerable. And as men, we suck at being vulnerable. Suck at it, right? We want to give everybody the presence and the image of what we want and the mask on our face that we got all this together. The reality is if you don't talk about it and you're not planned and ready, okay, then the therapist can only do so much. Like, I can't tell you the number of times, or for me, that I've done the same thing because I've been in therapy. Like, well, did you do this and this? Oh, yeah, I did that. No, I didn't. I didn't do any of that.
Also withholding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that because, one, it's hard, and lifelong work. One thing I want people to realize by doing this, and the reason why I'm so excited about this, is let's get the conversation started.
Well, you can get the conversation started and see the conversation with those 4 right there at YouTube. It is all presented by Johnston RV Center. You saw Nick Johnston on the set there. Great guy, great company there at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Right now, they have repriced both the lots. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. So confident in their pricing, they will beat any price nationwide, and that is a guarantee. Bring them a price on a comparable RV. They will beat it nationwide. RV warranty forever. Make sure you have got the lifetime warranty on everything new and qualifying used. JohnstonRVCenter.com. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Back with you on the next round. Little developing news from our friends at Oats. Let's give you that, and then he'll give us the question from last night.
I was just talking about Oats. My nieces were in there, and they were talking about basketball camp last week, and guess who their number 1 instructor was, Rocky?
Caitlin Clark.
No, it was Skip.
Oh, Skip.
So if you want to see Skip in the wild, just come out on a Wednesday night. To Oats team. We had 20 teams last night. It was absolutely packed.
20 teams. So what was the question?
What came first, Crystal or Kraft mac and cheese?
Crystal hamburgers?
Yeah.
Not the actual occurring Crystal in
Well,
in
the
nature.
the Crystal,
my next door neighbor,
the
Crystal.
brand.
Crystal Johnson? I'll say macaroni and cheese.
The Kraft macaroni and cheese in a box?
Yep.
I'm going to go Crystal hamburgers.
Crystal 1932.
Holy crap.
Kraft mac and cheese 1937.
Wow.
These are some of the little things you can learn at Oats every Wednesday night when we do team trivia. Always a lot of fun. But not only that, the original location in Crestline, where we were last night, the newest location right there in Edgewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy incredible food from Rodney Davis, from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, my personal favorite, the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets as well. Stop into one of those 2 locations today of Oats Tavern.
All right, so on 3 Sports, what did the tweet look like? Because we have it screen grabbed forever.
They live forever.
Jeff Goodman, according to On 3 Sports, now he still says it in his audio version of the Field of 68 reaction to Dan Hurley. It's still on their YouTube channel. But On 3 Sports has pulled down the tweet that says Bruce Pearl is the only name to replace Dan Hurley at UConn if he leaves for the Los Angeles Lakers, according to Goodman Hoops. They have pulled that down. I would imagine it's a conversation maybe between Goodman and the people who run social media at On 3 Sports. Listen, we're just spitballing in a podcast reaction. I'm in no way reporting that Bruce Pearl would get the job, and that's the way the tweet makes it look. If you're in a podcast, not that I didn't say it in our podcast, our reaction podcast that we posted on YouTube, that Bruce Pearl would be who I call, but that makes it look like I think Bruce Pearl is going to get the job.
Not the way I read it.
Not the way I read it either. I don't know why you pull that down.
Yeah.
That's weak. I mean, look, my assumption is they would only have one name in mind if Hurley was to leave, and that would be Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his opinion.
Yeah, the way I read the tweet that On 3 sent out is Jeff Goodman is saying, the one guy I call is Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, see, that's the way I would have taken it too. But if you're,
I think most reasonable people would.
I think the chat room was reacting like, this could be something that Bruce wants or da da da. If you're Jeff Goodman, you're just saying if I'm the guy at UConn that's got to do the hiring, Got a relationship, as Brown pointed out. Got a relationship with Bruce Pearl. I'd make that call.
Yeah.
We were all saying we didn't think Bruce would take it. On3 has now pulled down that tweet. You can go see the Field of 68 reaction to Dan Hurley being considered as the Lakers head coach. What do you think the folks, real quickly here on this, what do you think the folks at the NBA think of the Lakers and this story leaking out on the day of Game 1 of the Finals? You had 7 days between games for this story to leak out.
I think they hate it, but I don't think they're surprised at all by it.
Yeah, and you know what's going to be interesting is J.J. Redick's going to be on that broadcast tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Mike Breen, you've got to ask him about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, and you know J.J. wants this. I mean, to go from not coaching at all to getting the Lakers job, but you just wonder, and the report was J.J. Redick was like, I am going to wait until after the NBA Finals and make my decision.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you waited too long.
Okay, so college football news before we get to Gary Owen, who's scheduled to be with us here at the top of the hour. The second best linebacker and a top 10 player nationally for the next class, 5-star linebacker Jayen Walker, picks Georgia. No surprise here. He's going to go to the Georgia Bulldogs. He picks Georgia over Auburn and Alabama. Those were his next two choices, according to reports there. Zayden, Georgia native, commits to Georgia. # Go Dogs there in his commitment. Pretty big pickup there. He is supposed to be a beast, and as I said, he's near the top of the list for just about everyone in college football. Remember Paul Chryst at Wisconsin? Remember what he was doing last year? He was a special assistant to Steve Sarkisian.
Okay.
At
I'd
Texas.
forgotten that.
News from Texas this morning, Paul Chryst no longer on the staff. No details given to Paul Chryst.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what his future is. I mean,
I don't know. He was such a Wisconsin guy.
Yeah. Like, would you be excited if he was your offensive coordinator?
Not necessarily.
I wouldn't either.
I thought it was a great fit at Wisconsin, but it got a little stale.
Yeah, it just seemed like, I don't want to say right place, right time, but kind of right place, right time at Wisconsin for him. I don't know what his future is like. He looks like an offensive line coach. I don't know that that's his specialty, but he looks like an offensive line coach. That's, I guess, my way of kind of saying he's a big guy that coaches football.
Have you guys ever tried to plan a weekend trip for friends if they were coming to town for a big game or something? I'm sure it didn't go like this, but I'm sort of glad to see the government clap back at counterfeit promises or tickets or packages for fans that don't live up to what you expect them to be. Kenneth McCants is a guy at Nebraska, had a company called the Nebraska logo Influence.
Okay.
And he was selling packages to watch Nebraska football in a suite with a former Nebraska football player. That's what you were paying for. Turns out that many times you ended up with only a general admission ticket, standing room only, to get into the game, no suite, and no hanging out with the Nebraska football player. Judge has ruled that he's got to pay $87,000 in restitution to the fans who bought the package, and they've penalized him $252,000 in civil penalties there.
Should have had him drawn and quartered.
Drawn and quartered, huh?
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I don't understand how it happens more than one time. Like, how vocal would you be if you got there and you had a general admission ticket?
Yeah. I mean,
A, I'm not in a suite, and then B, I'm not getting to stand anywhere near a great Nebraska legend.
He basically didn't deliver anything he promised. It wasn't like he only delivered part of the promise. He delivered none of the promise.
One more thing before we get to Gary Owen at the top of the hour. Let's go to the Alabama website first. You know, it's common. Nutrition is such a big selling point for athletes now. At Alabama, they've got their nutritionist staff on their website at rolltide.com. I'm sure Auburn does and other teams do as well. Amanda and the team who's in charge of the nutrition, fueling up the great athletes at Alabama. LSU takes it a step further on their website. They actually list their chefs, the chefs who actually cook the food, on their website. Roger Sherman tweets this out. Today I learned that LSU puts the team chefs on the athletics website. Head chef up and then sous chefs, the other three guys.
The dude with the beard is where I'm going. The big chef is usually the guy that can really cook.
Yeah. Well, there's two of them, top right and then the guy bottom center. Those are two.
Yeah. I would say the top right, boy. I bet he's hell on breakfast.
Yes, sir. I would eat his food.
That, my friend, right there is a crew that looks like they probably have some good gumbo in their background, right?
Yeah, I would think they could probably cook the Creole.
Gary Owen, very entertaining comedian, joins us coming up on the other side. Don't forget the NBA Finals. Game 1 starts tonight, 7:30 on ABC. 9-day layoff for the Mavericks. 9-day layoff for the Celtics. 7-day layoff for the Dallas Mavericks. 7:30 tonight on ABC. Game 2 of the Women's World Series. Oklahoma pounded Texas last night. 8-3, Game 2 tonight on the ESPN family of networks. The show being brought to you today in part by our friends at JohnsonRVCenter.com Browning.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicators where you go to find Johnson RV Center. Those 2 lots packed with RVs, and they've all been repriced. They are confident their pricing is the best anywhere in America. They will beat any price anywhere in America on a comparable RV. You bring them the price, they'll beat it. Listen, they love the United States military. Today, 80 years ago, they saved the world, the United States military, storming the beaches at Normandy. They love you. And whether you're active duty or retired military, they give you a great discount there at Johnston RV Center, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Our friends at Longye's Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longye's offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longye's offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longye's sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longye's has to offer you.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Comedian Gary Owen joins the show here in a moment. Show being brought to you by our friend Dr. B. Headlines out there brought to you by Dr. B. Dan Hurley and the Lakers in serious conversation on a long-term guaranteed contract to try to pull Hurley from UConn. I told you about the games on the court tonight and a big recruit to Georgia. and NFL mandatory camps rolling around still for about 9 or 10 NFL teams, that being brought to you by Dr. B.
Yeah, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training in genetic testing, to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Not only did I go see Dr. B over 2 years ago, my hair is more than doubled in thickness. Brown went to see him just a couple of months ago. We're doing that same non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Again, hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more information, call, book a consultation today, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
The Vikings are one of those teams in mandatory camp right now. They got Justin Jefferson signed and ready to go, and they also have a new alternate uniform, and I love them. I can imagine a whiteout in that beautiful stadium in Minneapolis.
So good. These are so good.
Look how good that white. They call it the Winter Warrior uniform.
The icy white.
I like
that is a good look.
everything but the helmet. Maybe if you made the horn purple.
Okay. I could live with that rather than just the outline.
Yeah.
I actually like it that way, LT, because the whole thing's going to be white.
I would like to see a purple horn. I would like to be able to judge. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to like the purple horn. I love that uniform.
It's just such a great classic uniform to begin with, but I do like the white.
Yeah. It's going to be a whiteout game. They haven't announced that, but you guarantee it's going to be a whiteout.
Oh, and look, their fans will be all about it.
Speaking of whiteout games, if you look at Penn State's schedule, they've done a whiteout in the day against Alabama, I believe. I think Alabama was a whiteout game.
Maybe so, yeah.
And that was an afternoon game when AJ and the guys went up there.
Yeah.
But usually their whiteout game is in prime time at night there at Penn State, right?
Yep.
If you look at their schedule this year and their biggest games and the way Fox likes to take their big noon kickoff, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, and move the big games there, Penn State, Ohio State, I think would be a big noon kickoff game you can count on. I was looking at the schedule last night. Best chance at a primetime whiteout game. Auburn was a whiteout game when Auburn was there, but it was primetime.
Primetime ABC.
I looked last night. I think Illinois. If I had to bet on what the whiteout game was this year, if they do it at night, I think it's Illinois.
I don't think they have to do that for Illinois.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you're minimizing the whiteout if you waste time.
Like to me, the whiteout should bring you like 6 or 7 points. It should be that energetic of a crowd.
Can you do the whiteout at 11 a.m. Brown with 12 Eastern?
I guess. I don't know. But that game's not going to be. Well, no, I don't care when they do it. It wouldn't bother me. No, but why not UCLA? You don't think that's got a chance to be a primetime game?
It could.
It's the very next week, and that's a West Coast team.
It would be their first meeting. I think Illinois is a better football team than UCLA. You?
I don't know if I'd say that.
I think so.
I think Illinois is better than UCLA?
I mean, not brand.
Oh,
not
no.
brand.
Nowhere close on brand. That Illinois game is either 2:34 or 6:30. Or I should say 2:33 or 6:30. They've at least reserved the times there. Like you said, Ohio State's probably a big noon kickoff. I would do it then because the fans seem to get into it more. But to Lance's point, that Ohio State game is going. What about Washington the week after Ohio State? I know it's November and they try to steer you away from those primetime games and the cold environments.
But maybe that's it. A whiteout with it snowing would be perfect.
That would be a pretty cool whiteout.
That would be
the
perfect.
Old snowy whiteout.
I just thought Illinois maybe was the best team that you'd want. Like I agree with LT. It's a point advantage
should be
for Penn State when it's a whiteout game, and I thought Illinois was the tougher of the teams that would be coming in that situation.
Just because I'm looking at the picture of him, by the way, at our On3 event we were at last week. Parents big fans of James Franklin.
Oh, they like him. I can see that.
Yeah, I guess that's what keeps him in business, right?
I can see that. The guy is a heck of a salesman. Like he sells the heck out of his program.
What is his
record?
No, recruiting wise. Where do they usually finish?
Oh, they're top 10.
They're top 10 every year?
Pretty much every time.
And I don't view that as a particularly, like in comparison to places in the SEC or Ohio State, a particularly easy recruiting sell. Like, I don't think it's extremely hard, but there are easier ones.
But I've heard much like Eugene, this is a difficult place to get to.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think it's nice when you get there, but I think also it's probably. Now, you've been on campus there, Jim. I've never been on campus. Phil's milk and cookies to me on campus.
It's harder. I've never been to Eugene, so I need to reserve that. But I've looked at a map flying to Portland.
I think it's 2.5 hours.
And then go to Eugene. I think it's a lot harder to get to Beaver Stadium.
So maybe like getting to Mississippi State, getting to Oxford or Starkville?
Oh, I think I mean, I fly to Memphis and I get to Oxford easily. I fly to Birmingham and get to Starkville or Jackson. I think it's really, really hard.
Yeah, but you can't get any directs to Birmingham.
You can't, but yeah. I just think
anyway, if I'm a Penn
tremendously hard to get
State
to Beaver
fan,
Stadium.
and James Franklin hasn't done a bad job, he just can't beat premier teams, premier programs. But I kind of look at what he has done. Like, if you looked at a 5-year snapshot of his recruiting, I would think he would be around 8, 9, 10. But I guess that's kind of where he finishes up, right?
Our friends at Pro Football Focus, they have ranked the 10 best wide receiver rooms in college football. Now, keep in mind, this offseason, we've seen 4 Alabama wide receivers get major extensions, the last one being Jalen Waddle. Ryan Williams, a big recruit coming in. Do you think Alabama's receiving room's on the top 10 before you show it, Forrester, either one of you?
I don't know. Yeah. I doubt it.
Auburn had one of the best recruiting classes, receiving rooms in college football history, some say, top to bottom. Number of recruits coming in. Do you think they're in the top 10?
No.
No, says LT. Show them the top 10 from Pro Football Focus. Oregon with the best receiver room in college football. Surprising to me. Ole Miss is 2, Ohio State 3, Georgia 4, Texas 5, replacing with Isaiah Bond and company. Missouri, Miami, Colorado 8, LSU 9, Oklahoma 10. Neither of the state schools, but the SEC well represented with Ole Miss at 2, Georgia at 4, Texas at 5, Missouri at 6, LSU 9, Oklahoma 10.
You know, Oregon's interesting because your top receiver last year, Troy Franklin, is in Denver with his quarterback, Bo Nix. Now, Tez Johnson comes back. Now, I'm sure they got a couple of transfer portal guys that I'm not even thinking about right now.
That's what makes this so hard. I have to Google them all. I have to Google them all just to remember who's in what room, unfortunately. I mean, that's the way it is.
Who did Oregon get? They got a portal guy, right, that made them so much better?
Oh, I'm sure they did. I can't
remember
we know
the big
Dylan
one they
Gabriel
got.
at quarterback, but at receiver, I'm not sure who that was.
The one that really jumps at me is Ole Miss with Jackson Dart. I find Ole Miss to be somewhat of a polarizing team right now. Like, I think there are a lot of people that think Ole Miss can contend as maybe a top 5-6 team.
Oh, yeah, Evan Stewart.
A playoff team.
That's big.
And Ole Miss, to match all that up with Jackson Dart, if they've got that good of a group of receivers, I don't know what you guys think about Jackson Dart. I don't know what you feel.
I think he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think more for Ole Miss, and I think this is the reason Lane Kiffin came out and said, I feel like this is my best roster, is he feels like up front he can finally compete. Like, they've had skill guys for years and years and years.
Luther Burden carrying that Missouri crew on his back at number 6 there. Missouri, man, the expectations through the roof for this team.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a quick break here so we can maximize our Gary Owen time coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Way to Wellness, Leslie and her board-certified team can absolutely help you jumpstart your weight loss and also maybe control some blood pressure and cholesterol numbers there as well. All you have to do is go to aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's the website there. You'll find out there's no contract, there's no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is absolutely free. Just go to the website at planforme.com. You're seeing the free consultation with our guys there. The Meltdown guys with you live every day at 2 o'clock. Their pop culture podcast. They're going through the process at Way to Wellness as well. Healthy and effective. That's what I say about Way to Wellness. You can check them out for yourself, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
This hour of the show brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. I'll tell you more about Champy's in a second. Rosi Lelo is a Emmy Award-winning sports director in Montgomery, WSFA Channel 12, your sports leader.
A sweetheart of a person, too. Such a nice girl.
Absolutely fantastic. Listens to our show, and while doing whatever she's doing at mid-morning, before she goes into Montgomery sports leader, she writes in because she's from Pennsylvania.
Uh-oh, did we discredit her state?
From State College Airport, easy drive to Beaver Stadium. If you fly into Pittsburgh Airport, about 2 hours and 45 minutes, if no traffic. Was there ever traffic on game day?
Well, you taking a shot at Rosie?
From Philly, she just puts the word far.
That's all I'm going to say. Far.
But if you live in central Pennsylvania, Beaver Stadium is pretty easy to get into, in her opinion. Game day traffic sucks, but that's everywhere. She listens every day. We appreciate her. Just picked up an Emmy Award over the weekend. So
Good
congratulations.
for her. How about that?
To Rosi Lelo.
Yeah.
Probably for being the second best media coverage at the NCAA basketball tournament, right behind Taylor Korn up in Spokane.
They became a team up there. I think her and Rosie hit it off, and they were tackling it together.
If we'd have put Taylor in a different category, Rosie and Taylor could have walked off with Emmys this past weekend. But Rosie wins it. Congratulations to her, and thanks for listening.
Would that kill you if Taylor won an Emmy and she had a half of your number of Emmys already at age 20, whatever Taylor is?
No, not at all.
Well, he would somehow try to take credit.
Yeah, I mean, mentor passing along the torch
That's
is
right.
the way I would play that.
That was kind of my Emmy right there.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Saban doesn't play the game anymore. He just leads others to championships. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, always bringing you hour number 3 of the show. We appreciate Sterling and the crew there. Champy'sChicken.com. Brined overnight, cooked to order, deep southern fried chicken, a destination location. Check them out. On the way to the beach, back from the beach, all you have to do is get off the Alabaster exit, less than a mile. It's Champy's world famous fried chicken, Champy'sChicken.com. Trash coming up before Gary Owen.
Yeah, real quick, I was just going to say Kevin Sweeney, who is a college basketball guy, does some work with Sports Illustrated. tweeted at On3 Sports and said, look, I understand the aggregation game. This is in no way what Goodman said on his show. This is irresponsible, which is probably why On3 took the thing down that said that Jeff Goodman said there's only one guy. John Fanta, also at Goodman's outlet there, is reporting that Dan Hurley has already met with his players at UConn this morning and informed them he's in talks with the Lakers.
Which is why I think it will happen, Brown. You don't go that far.
It doesn't seem like you would.
Because instantly you tell me that, and I'm already looking at how can I increase my NIL going somewhere else. Can I call John Calipari right now and get a better deal and transfer from UConn to Arkansas?
Yeah.
Can I call Mark Pope and transfer from UConn to Kentucky?
Well, I mean, I think that in case he doesn't take this job, that's why he's meeting with these guys.
Yeah.
And then maybe at the same time, to show how serious he is by meeting with these guys, maybe UConn and some of their boosters, they circle back and they're like, what do you need? Like, sky's the limit.
Now, I know we just gave Geno an extension, but here we go.
Hurley didn't want to hide the fact that this is real. Huskies have a noon practice, and Hurley told his players it's business as usual for now, in period. But back to the Bruce Pearl tweet. People are saying, if you listen, you guys took it out of context what he was saying.
You guys being on 3, not us. We just said what on 3 said,
Exactly. No, actually, before on 3 said it, we said we didn't think Bruce Pearl.
That's right.
0% was the percentage I used that Bruce Pearl would leave Auburn at any point in his career to coach somewhere else. I think he retires at Auburn. I think it's in the next couple of years. I think he turns it over to Stephen sooner rather than later.
Such a good situation. Not that UConn wouldn't be. UConn would be an amazing situation, but he's got it really good at Auburn. It's going to be hard to find a better just overall situation than what he's got right now.
We'll interrupt Trash if Gary Owen joins us, but Trash today brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit the big button, Rockstar.
Confirming the ground is now good to say. Oh, you've been joined by a beautiful lady.
No, it's a man, actually, Derek.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Our friends at Mortgage Right. Sorry, just texting some of Gary's people, just trying to figure out what's going on. It is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran-founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country while the area they serve may have grown. Their commitment to Birmingham and veterans hasn't changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. Call the Birmingham location 205-900-7200 or online. You can apply right there at mortgageright.com/TNR NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender. If your carefully crafted life plan has been scrapped by sofa time, binging on fast food, drinking too much, and failing to contribute to the company pension, it may be time for a chat with your future self. AI is going all different directions. Without ready access to a time machine, researchers at MIT have built an AI-powered chatbot that simulates a user's older self and dishes out observations and pearls of wisdom. Now, the aim is to encourage people to give more thought today to the person they want to be tomorrow. With a profile picture that is digitally aged to show youthful users as wrinkly, white-haired seniors, chatbot generates plausible synthetic memories and draws on a user's present aspirations to spin tales about its successful life. Now, according to one that works with the Future You project at MIT's Media Lab, quote, the goal is to promote long-term thinking and behavior change. This can motivate people to make wiser choices in the present that optimize for their long-term well-being and life outcomes. In one conversation, a student who hoped to be a biology teacher asked the chatbot, a simulated 60-year-old version of herself, about the most rewarding moment in her career. Chatbot said it was a retired biology teacher in Boston and recalled a special moment when it helped a struggling student turn their grades around. Quote, it was so gratifying to see the student's face light up with pride and accomplishment, according to the chatbot.
Oh, they do something negative, like don't do it. Like, please, don't go into biology. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I mean, it's your future self.
We're putting
it's all positive.
A lot of faith in AI at this point, aren't we?
I think we're spending too much money developing AI
agree.
technology.
I've got it with you.
I mean, I drive on a couple of roads every day. I'm like, let's put some effort into coming up with better ways to pave roads.
Oh, man, I got to the back. I came in the back way of Odie's last night, so through Mountain Brook Village. And
I thought those were streets of gold.
I got there right to where the clock is, basically, and it was cut off. So then I had to go circle all the way around to Montclair. Like, they completely shut the street down.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's other things we could do outside of AI.
Big sewage line or water line they're laying under the roads through there. So they've had some detours going on for a bit, I think.
Is that filled with Perrier or water?
Sparkling.
Sparkling water.
So Brazil has hundreds of millions of cows, but one in particular is extraordinary. Worth $4 million. This is the most expensive cow ever sold at the auction, according to Guinness World Records.
Lost a lot of weight there and it's got some flabby skin.
3 times more than the last record holder's price, and at more than 2,400 pounds, she's twice as heavy
Looks
as
like
an
two
average
big
adult
dudes.
of her breed.
Yeah.
Like 2 big dudes are filling out the cow suit, and the front guy is not big enough to fill it out.
That is a lot of skin.
She's lost weight.
So why is this cow worth $4 million?
Now,
That's a lot of meat.
It's a rare camel cow with the hump there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
This is Viatina, 19. The owners have put up 2 billboards praising her size. They're calling her the super cow. The Snow White cow's eye-popping price stems from how quickly she put out vast amount of muscle, from her fertility, and how often she passed those characteristics to her offspring.
One other thing, they have not shown any pictures of offspring.
Yeah.
That's true. Good point, Rockstar.
Now, those eager to level up their livestock's genetics pay around $250,000 for an opportunity to collect Viatina's 19 egg cells.
Yeah, I would say this. Is the hump good eating? Is that good meat? I've never seen a cow with a hump before. Is
I
that
think
something?
I'd rather eat the hump than the loose skin.
Yeah, the loose skin looks chewy.
Waddle, whatever that is.
I mean, if I go in, can I just say, or is that just a shorter person with a big cowboy hat standing on the other side of the cow? And I've
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Misplayed that as a hump.
Yeah, I think it might be a because the way the shadow falls right there, I think we might be seeing something behind the cow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are.
I was about to say I've never seen a cow with a hump.
Yeah, that is a weird. It's a weird looking cow to begin with, but certainly if it's got the hump, it's even weirder.
So
if I'd had a few cocktails, I think I'd look at that thing and think it was just a big goat.
I'm kind of with you. It doesn't really look like a cow. I kind of doubt this story, Rockstar. I think this is a hoax.
Yeah, now where the hell do you see white cows?
So I randomly asked a question the other night, and it happens to be in trash today, which is a little ironic. But I asked somebody, would you rather get stung by a jellyfish or sprayed by a skunk?
Stung by a jellyfish.
Stung by a jellyfish.
I think so, too, unless it's the box jellyfish. But if you get stung by a jellyfish, try not to panic and don't give in to the myth that medical experts say that just makes matters worse. Now, Amanda Joy, certified
Aren't I supposed to
physician
urinate on you?
assistant, and I'll get to that, an associate medical director at MedStar Health Urgent Care, told WTOP that peeing theory is a, quote, myth.
So no.
Do not let your friends urinate on you.
Yes,
we
you normally don't have to
need
tell me
be
that.
doing that, she said. Joy said instead the recommendation is to remove jellyfish's tentacles and irrigate or clean the area with seawater, not with tap or bottled water.
Oh,
then
interesting.
you'll want to soak the skin in hot water to help dull the pain. Now,
Well, I'm going to put salty water on you, and it's going to irrigate. It's going to irrigate it as well.
Your pee is not seawater, so I'm going to go with the seawater.
I know you typically don't get in the water.
I'm not a big fan of the ocean, yeah.
But like getting out this past time I was down there, it was one of those where you could feel the particles of the jellyfish all over you.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like you jumped through some kind of fiberglass, but it was just itchy, you know, for like 30 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I was a kid, a jellyfish got hold of me. That is some pain now.
Now,
I really think that's some algae they have down there
That
certain
could
times
be.
a year.
I like to say it's the jellyfish particles. I did see a lot of jellyfish.
There are what they call sea lice, and I think they're bad right now. They're not actually lice. I think I've read what they are. They call them sea lice, but they might be like baby jellyfish or something like that, and they just cause rashes.
Well, the Mayo Clinic recommends plucking tentacles with a fine tweezer and keeping the affected skin immersed in a hot shower
That is a
between
fine tweezer.
20 and 45 minutes, and caution against scraping out stingers, applying alcohol, using pressure bandages, or rubbing the area with a towel. Very specific what you're supposed to do here.
That is.
Yeah, and
Hell, just piss on it. I mean, that might work.
So after
we always remind you, Floribama's rash free too in their water.
Okay,
Yeah, no worries at their water.
After like 2 decades of not hearing anything about Flavor Flav, this is the second Flavor Flav story in the last month here
he's
on
making
Trash
a
on the Table.
comeback.
He has found his next cause to saving Red Lobster and their beloved Cheddar Bay biscuits. Now on Monday, this past Monday, the Public Enemy rapper shared a photo of his table-filling spread on social media, showing off every single item on the menu.
Just give me one of everything. Yes, sir, Mr. Flav.
Now,
I don't think that's going to save it.
Wrote in his caption, your boy meant it when he said I was going to do anything and everything to help Red Lobster and save the Cheddar Bay Biscuits. Now, Flavor Flav's team told TMZ that he went to one of the remaining Red Lobster locations with his daughter, was planning on returning with his son for another massive meal. What's more, Flavor Flav scheduled for talks with Red Lobster and is open to potential collaboration in the near future. I would get my money up front, right? Cash in advance?
Yeah, do not take a check. I would not.
I didn't realize, though, that they were going to continue to operate 600 remaining restaurants. Is one of those in Vestavia?
I don't know. I just saw that they closed like 200 more or something like that. Like they're closing rapidly. But the one in Vestavia is always packed.
Well, we'll waste some food in America, won't we?
We really will, because I don't think Mr. Flav ate all that.
No. Flavor Flav, though, man, he's got a busy summer. Not only is he saving Red Lobster, he's also going to be supporting the U.S. women's water polo team in the Summer Olympics.
Well, heck, yeah, who's not?
Yeah.
And finally, I've got Shower Thoughts. These are the female edition of Shower Thoughts. These are interesting.
Okay.
So this is what ladies think about in the shower.
Ladies in gym, or
probably. Let's see.
You never really hear about women having foot fetishes.
Jim?
You don't.
That's one thing that sets you apart from the ladies.
Men's feet are not very attractive, especially with hairy toes. But I guess you could.
I shave mine.
Be into hairy toes.
Yeah.
This one is so true. A woman can look formal in something with no sleeves. A man, it's impossible.
Okay, say that again.
A woman can look formal in something without sleeves.
Yep,
that's right.
A man, it would be
You're
impossible.
right. Yeah,
Boy, I
that's
do the
very little doubt.
neckline of a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do that again, Jim.
You know what I'm saying? The nape and then the shoulders.
Keep
little off the shoulders dress right
little
here.
cleavage.
Where? Right there.
Right
and when I
there.
wear it, I get stares.
Yeah, or small straps and you're dancing.
The spaghetti
and that
strap?
one strap
dancing,
just sort of
yeah.
slips down a little bit while you're dancing.
Does that
Crank
happen?
that tractor.
Does that happen a
Crank
lot
that
to you?
tractor.
Yeah, that was my Theo Von impersonation. And that little strap, it starts wiggling its way down the arm. Crank that tractor.
I cannot think of anything a man can wear that doesn't have sleeves that looks formal. Like, no matter how you doctor it up, it's not going to look like you could do a
outside of
tuxedo
Pat
shirt.
McAfee looks very formal, right?
Well, it's just his look. But you can do
West Virginia hillbilly had his shoes off yesterday because we've got it on in studio, and he was rolling around on one of their chairs with his feet up.
Well, that's because he started off in the ice tub, so he had his shoes off. So he spent the first segment doing an interview with J.J. Watt. Both of them were in the ice tub for the entire interview, that can beside the desk there.
I can't figure out what's going on this show. It's been on. They're doing some sort of soccer thing. He played in a soccer game last night, and he's actually pretty good at
they're in Cary, North Carolina,
Yeah.
and that's the U.S. I think it's U.S. Trials or something.
Oh, okay.
Good athlete, no doubt.
Oh, there's no doubt. He can kick. He can kick.
Okay, here is another shower thought, female edition. Every girl puts on the same voice when imitating a guy.
That's true. That's a good point. These are all good.
No, this one's incredible. Male country singers talk about how good they are to women, while female country singers talk about how terrible men are.
That's so true. That is so true.
It really is predictable. And then finally, men are trained to never assume a woman is flirting with them. Women are trained always assume a man is flirting with them.
I mean, I think there's probably good reason behind that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a long history to say it's probably a safe assumption for women and men to assume that.
I never believe it. I never think anybody's flirting with me.
That's good.
Yeah, they're probably not.
I think recently it's happened.
No, you did have that sailor at...
offshore oil rigger is like what we'd like to call him officially.
I'll call him a sailor.
Yeah.
Everything's dark. It's fine. Once you turn the lights off, it's all dark.
Y'all done away a sailor.
He was three-dimensional.
How long you in port, boy?
he was
three-dimensional.
Yeah, there's a joke there about a Deepwater Horizon that he was interested in.
Wow. Your abyss. Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right, they are here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or 100% financing, Mortgage Right one-stop shop, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
All right. Jeff Goodman's now tweeting, so I don't know what's going on here because we got people saying you misrepresented what Jeff Goodman said, but here's what Jeff Goodman now says from his official Twitter handle.
Okay, I would tell you when I listened to it, it was if I was the guy,
Right.
this is who I would call. Now, what does Jeff actually say?
If Dan Hurley leaves UConn for the Lakers, the guy I would target is Auburn's Bruce Pearl. I mean, he's point blank saying it now.
And that's the way I took it when I went and listened to it was, if I was the guy hiring, I would hire Bruce Pearl. Not that Bruce would be interested, not that Bruce would take the job, But I just took it that way. If I was hiring to replace Dan Hurley, it would be with Bruce Pearl.
Grew up in New England, has the personality to follow Dan Hurley, can coach/recruit, and his buyout is reasonable. Scott is showing you, if you're watching us, the tweet there. He's point blank saying it now. So if everyone says Jeff Goodman has been taken out of context, he has not.
Yeah,
he's point blank saying it now.
That has been a
weird trend here.
It's been an education in journalism / social media today with Jeff Goodman and his the folks at On3 Sports, who he does not work for, if I'm correct, right?
No, he does not. Field of 68 and On3 are separate. I don't know that he's got any sort of an agreement with On3. He may. I'm not sure. But he's point blank saying it now that he'd go after Bruce Pearl again. And a lot of people in the chat room are like, if Jeff is saying it, bye-bye Bruce. I think all three of us are in agreement. We do not see it happening.
I respect what Bruce does a lot. What Jeff Goodman does a lot.
He's really good at what he does.
Really good at the basketball information, breaking down games and contacts with people. I think there's zero chance that Bruce leaves and coaches anywhere else until his career's over.
Yeah, the only way I think he would leave if you are on to something and Auburn was saying, hey, we'll make Steven the head coach.
Well, I think that is Auburn's next move whenever Bruce
I think
does
it
step
is
down.
if he ultimately retires. I just think it would be more interesting if they're like, hey, if you do go, Steven's our guy.
Top 10 roster, according to all the preseason rankings in Auburn, returning for Bruce Pearl coming up this year. Alabama preseason number 1. If UConn loses their coach and loses some of their roster, it could open the door for a special, at least one powerhouse defending 2-time national champions. On the other side, when you get to March, maybe UConn won't be a beast this year like they've been the past 2 years. All right, tell us about Michelson, and we'll continue the rest of the show either with or without Gary Owen on the other side. Michelson Laser Vision, keeping you with your eyesight perfect for the future.
I read this morning Jake Gyllenhaal is legally blind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He was diagnosed when he was 6 years old. He said it's a benefit for him. Can't see when he gets up in the morning without his prescription glasses. I didn't realize I was legally blind until I went to see Dr. Mark Michelson. I had the 20/200 vision after the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make this phone call, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent to you. Also ask about the pre-inflation pricing. One of the best decisions I made was going to see Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Michelson, and Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the Bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
We continue on the next round. JoJo Tillery, Stallions safety. They tell me, I have never seen JoJo interviewed. I've never heard him interviewed.
Funny guy.
Have you seen him?
I have.
Have you?
Yep.
They tell me he is funny and he is the trash talker of the team.
Is he the Tyrion Arnold of the Stallions?
Is he the Tyrion Arnold of the Stallions?
Well, I think that's a great comparison.
Is it?
Great comparison.
Okay.
We'll talk to him. Scheduled to be with us coming up here in about 8 or 9 minutes. Stallions in action, 2 o'clock, Protective Stadium this Saturday. TheUFL.com, TheUFL.com for tickets. Also, Inverness Country Club bringing you this part of the show. Chance for you, if you're a young couple out there, to sort of get a relaxation, entertaining, and golf model for you with a great pool experience is all at Inverness Country Club.
Yeah, I had one of our friends reach out to me asking about the pricing of Inverness Country Club. You're going to be blown away, too. Absolute hidden gem, just a great place to meet people. It's a great place to network. Maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness, find your sense of community right there at Inverness Country Club. That social membership, including the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, the golf membership, beautiful courses, currently expanding the driving range. Maybe you travel for work or pleasure. Ask about the Heritage Plus option where you have access to courses at 37 other clubs around the country. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Best days happen at Inverness. Take a tour today. Call Aaron, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Or online, iccalabama.com, and make sure you tell them the next round sent you.
Do you think our grandfathers' generation, grandfathers and grandmothers, grandparents' generation, thought that there would be a time in the future of our country where June 6th just didn't mean what it meant to them?
Probably no. I don't think you can think about 80 years later, but you're referencing the fact that 80 years ago today, we stormed the beaches with some other allies, but led by great, brave American teenagers, most of them, and changed the course of the rest of the human existence on Earth.
I mean, could argue one of the most historically significant moments in the history of mankind. I mean, you could certainly make that argument.
That's what I just said. Yeah, it's changed the course of life on Earth.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about it. I just wondered the stuff. I mean, I guess when 9/11 happened, you think less about it every year, and like the year after, you're like, oh no, we'll always stop for that, right? And I guess one day you won't. It was just I've seen just a lot of conversation about it on social media today.
What do you mean, that we don't stop and recognize it anymore?
No, a conversation about D-Day.
Yeah.
And
so I think that is us stopping, because I sent something out earlier this morning. I saw Herb Street did it. And
yeah, but I think you're talking about a younger generation,
well,
right?
I think I'm just talking about, like, I'm sure in the years after that, like, it was on the top of everybody's mind. And, now it's easy to forget.
Well, I just don't think our forefathers probably they ever envisioned we would live in a society where a dude would start a cult off of TikTok dancers.
Are y'all both watching that?
Build a church.
I've
seen the first episode. I think I'm going
to
tap out, though, because I don't think it's going to build much more after episode 1.
Totally different storyline in episode 2.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
Episode 3 is the weakest.
Little T, I think, is all in on this, though.
It's only 3 episodes. I did it all in one day.
I don't understand. Yeah. Like, I really would have paid an extraction team to go in there, shoot that dude in the head, and pull my daughter out.
Yeah. And that could possibly put you in jail, but other than that...
But you get your daughter back.
You would get your daughter back.
Yeah. So there's a plus
she
there and a minus.
She could come see you through a glass talking on a phone.
Touch my
Well,
hand.
from what I saw in episode 1, that guy needs to die.
I was surprised, not to ruin it for anybody, but it's just not even behind bars. He doesn't even go to trial on a civil suit until 2025.
It's really not surprising. I mean, we've seen a lot of these things where, these guys are obviously criminals, but for whatever reason, they're not convicted.
CFL opener tonight. Brown, this used to be a big deal to you and I.
I used to watch this. Now, I've discovered I don't have as much an appetite for off-season football as I once did, I don't think. But tonight, Dunaway was actually saying, I said before the show, I was like, Dunaway, you remember back in the AM days, you and I used to actually talk about watching the CFL games. We used to watch them to whet our appetite before college football got back to us.
And I'd pull out stats of SEC players, sometimes Auburn and Alabama, but really SEC players that we knew who we'd watch play on Saturdays who made an impact in the game before, because that's when we saw who was the kid, Duron Carter, right?
Duron Carter for the first time playing the CFL, yeah.
We never saw in the Wild in Tuscaloosa, but we saw him catch touchdowns in the CFL. It was like, I think I would have been good in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, because Dunaway, actually the way this started, Dunaway was talking about the Rays, and he's like, I used to just say about the Rays, just get me to August, so I'm to college football, and that's all I want out of you, is just be relevant to August. Give me some entertainment to August.
And after about 8 years straight in the playoffs, we're finally doing that again, just 500.
And I said, Dunaway, you remember how we used to say the same thing about the CFL? Just get me to college football season. I'll watch a little CFL, just give me to college football season. And Dunaway's like, and I said, you know what? I think the CFL's about to start. And Jim's like, nah, they don't start at the end of June, Brown. And I looked, tonight's the opening game. We had no earthly idea. So we got tonight. Who do we got tonight? Montreal and...
You said Montreal and Toronto,
Winnipeg.
I think. Winnipeg? I thought it was Toronto. Argonauts.
Was it the Argonauts or the Alouettes?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's whatever the Grey Cup was last year.
There's only 9 teams or 7 teams.
But now, because ESPN is so vested in the UFL, I don't even think ESPN's showing it anymore. That's where we used to watch it, was ESPN.
We'll talk more about the UFL coming up with Stallions safety JoJo Tillery here momentarily. The Dan Hurley story continues to be a big topic on all of our platforms here with the NBA Finals starting tonight. I finally saw one of the graphics. I think it was with who was the longtime Virginia Tech coach who's now on Basketball Game Day?
Seth Greenberg.
Seth Greenberg was up. And in the graphic they put up, when it comes to total operation revenue to run a program, money to spend, UConn ranks 45th in college basketball. Wow. So that would factor in the money you've got to spend on NIL and facilities and everything. 2-time defending national champ UConn ranks 45th.
I will say that was not a detriment to them winning championships in the pre-NIL world, because all they've done is win championships.
Right.
Winning is
3 different coaches?
With 3 different coaches, Calhoun, Ollie, and now Dan Hurley.
Much easier to do it. Contradiction. It's the most difficult thing to do once you get to the tournament to win a championship, but easier to navigate, obviously, those numbers.
Yeah, but now I would say if you add that to the NIL world, I don't know that you can survive. Like, if you're only 45th in spending for your program, is that indicative of where you are on your NIL too, right? So now if I'm 45th in program and 30th in NIL, that's going to be hard to win a national championship.
Yeah, I would imagine you can't be 45th in this and
one in NIL.
One in NIL.
It wouldn't make any sense. Maybe you can. I guess theoretically you can, but it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, obviously he's gone back-to-back. There's only one place to go after you've gone back-to-back, and that's down.
Yep.
Right?
Or win it 3 times,
or
which
keep
we hadn't seen since Wooden.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the team coming back. They'll be good again. I don't think they're good enough to win it all again. You?
No, but I would have said that coming back this year.
Would have said that last year, too. It seems like there's a lot of good teams out there, 2 of them in our state, Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, this is the luxury of being Dan Hurley. If you want to scratch this NBA itch, if you've always wondered what will it be like in the NBA, you've reached the pinnacle of college basketball twice now. If you're going to get a fully guaranteed massive contract, if you're going to get that, as we said earlier, if I flame out in LA, if it doesn't work, I'm going to leave there with a boatload of money, and I'm going to have my pick of college jobs when they come open. Like if Mark Pope doesn't work out at Kentucky, you don't think Kentucky, they wanted to hire Dan Hurley this time.
All right. Dan Hurley has the reputation. I still think Brad Stevens, you brought this up early, could come back
in a heartbeat
to the college game just off of what he did at Butler and a little bit with the Celtics. Now in the Celtics front office, I think that he would still get a great opportunity to come back to college.
If Brad Stevens had said, you know what, kind of want to coach college basketball again. Mark Pope would be the BYU coach, and Brad Stevens would be the Kentucky coach.
That's right, if he'd wanted to do it then.
If they had hired him just like that. And Dan Hurley would be in that same boat. No matter what he does after failing with the Lakers, any college job that comes open, Dan Hurley could get that job. So you've got that luxury if you're him that you can go try to scratch this NBA itch. Now, what you lose is you may never get another opportunity as good as UConn. I think he could. But, when people talk about Nick Saban potentially coming back to coaching, I'm like, how many opportunities could he get that are as good as what he just left?
Yeah, good point. TheUFL.com for tickets this weekend, 2 o'clock, Protective Stadium. It's playoff time, 10 weeks of the regular season. Gets the Stallions at 9-1. Back into the playoffs. They're 2 wins away from being 3-time spring champions, Brownie. TheUFL.com for tickets, 2 o'clock against Michigan this weekend in the playoffs.
It's a big game, and their defensive back, their safety, JoJo Tillery, is with us now on the Johnson RV Center.com hotline. What's up, JoJo? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Man, we're really, really good. So this is a rematch from last week. How much of last week's game was play it close to the vest, don't show anything, because the next game is the most important?
I think for us, it wasn't much of that. We just wanted to go out there and win. We've been putting it installed in our minds, 1-0 since 2021. Regardless of what we had to do, we had to come out with a win, and that's what we did. So it wasn't much so trying to hide anything. What you see is what you're going to get. So,
some people out there are saying Birmingham trying to keep it together as they go into the postseason. They're limping into the postseason. I mean, where do you think you guys are overall right now heading into postseason play?
Oh, man, we're ready. Everybody some way, somehow gets that injury bug, and I think it's hit us the hardest throughout the league. But we're prepared, we're ready, and trying to go 1-0.
So when you get a free look, like you did last week of the Michigan skill players at your position, I mean, you can watch tape and not play them in person. You say, that guy looks fast, but you get out on the field, sometimes he's faster than he looks on tape. Do you feel as a guy who will be covering the Michigan skill players that the free look last week sort of gives you a little bit of an advantage because you know the skill set of these other guys?
I mean, most definitely. Some of those guys played on the team last year, so we were kind of used to it a little bit. But like you said, it's most definitely like some guys are like they're moving on film, but out there on the field, it's way much faster. So it definitely gave us a closer look on what to expect from a lot of them, especially like how they lined up in different scenarios and stuff. But yeah, like you said, like it's trust me, it's definitely a lot faster.
JoJo Tillery is with us, the safety for the Birmingham Stallions, playing in the semifinals this week at Protective Stadium against Michigan. Win, and they get to go to St. Louis for the championship game. Describe John Chavis for me, your defensive coordinator. We saw him coach for years at Tennessee, so people around here are familiar with John Chavis. But boy, I mean, this second life in the UFL, he has coached some dominant defensive football. Describe for me, please, John Chavis.
Well, especially growing up, I'm from Tennessee, so I was a big Vol fan. So I knew Chief a while ago. But just being a part of him, in his coaching, Chief is a great man first and foremost. He loves each and every one of us. He puts his heart and soul into it. Of course, we miss him, but we're gonna keep winning, especially for him. Just everything he's instilled, his defense, his mentality, how he gets us fired up. And Chief is a great guy.
JoJo, if you ever listen to our show, we get on a lot of weird tangents, but CFL kicking off tonight, it just got brought up right before you jumped on. You played for a minute in Calgary. What are the biggest differences in CFL? And you coming from the South, playing Southern football, how big is the fan base in Canada for football?
Well, actually, I didn't get to go. That was the COVID year. I had signed, but COVID year kind of messed that up. But I got one of my guys, Miles Brown. He went to Wofford with me, and he's at with Saskatchewan, I think, the Green Team. And he said it's like no other. It's amazing how their fan base is out there. If God willing, I could go play. If I don't end up going to the NFL, I want to experience that just to get that feeling, like you were saying, like the difference of it. But I have no idea, honestly.
We discuss on the show often when we are traveling during football season or just going north. Chattanooga, Tennessee, which you're familiar with, has some of the worst traffic in the world for its size. Do you agree with us or do you not agree with us? Because you have a river and a mountain there, and it seems to make everyone stop.
Listen, I definitely agree. Born and raised Chattanooga, Tennessee. I know the inroads, the outroads, it doesn't get any better than that. But the traffic, yes. Especially, you know, some of the highways aren't the best too. And I've lived in Atlanta. South Carolina got some terrible traffic too, by the way. And down here in Dallas, I would say Chattanooga, Tennessee's top 10 somewhere in there.
Yeah, especially per capita, because it's not a huge city, but it'll
Exactly.
stop a lot of cars. On the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, y'all become the third biggest city in the South because of all the cars on the road.
Oh, most definitely. I try not to go anywhere between the hours of 4 or 6 when I'm back home. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ever go to Sugar's Ribs there? I've eaten at Sugar's Ribs. It's hanging off the side of the mountain. It's got goats like underneath the restaurant.
Definitely. I've ate there a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, why do they have goats under the restaurant? Do you have any idea?
I've been trying to figure that out since I was in middle school because I went to East Ridge. So, of course, you know, behind that tunnel is East Ridge. So, literally, I used to, you know, come out of that tunnel and see the ghosts. And I would literally some days just sit there and watch it. I have no idea why.
I mean, it's the most random thing. I don't know if y'all have ever eaten there. It's a great, first of all, it's a very good restaurant. They got good ribs, but they just got like a pen of goats right there under the restaurant. And it really
literally,
makes
it's like 12 goats just sitting there, sitting there.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Okay. You played quarterback. You mentioned East Ridge High School back then. When was the first time you said, did you play both ways? You play quarterback and DB, or was there a coach that came to you and said, hey, I think your shots in the pros going to be best at DB?
It was actually my idea to kind of transition. I played, you know, both offense and defense my whole life. But of course, you know, my first position, my first love was quarterback. And just going into high school, you know, my first year I was backup, right? So I played a little receiver, but I started at safety. And then sophomore year, I started transitioning more back into quarterback. And honestly, you know, once the offers started rolling in, like my first offer was at a D3 camp for quarterback. Then I had a couple more D1 offers, FCS. But I figured for me, the best way to achieve my goal going to the NFL was definitely defense. Because I only had 2 or 3 at quarterback, but then I had 7, 8 others at defense. So I figured defense would be the best route for me.
If we had a dollar bill for every football player that comes on and talks about how good they could have been in basketball, we'd be rich. You're one of those guys too, right? I mean, tell us how good you would have been in basketball if you just would have focused on one sport.
I don't think I would have been that great. I had a couple D2, D3 offers at basketball, but me personally, I didn't care for basketball. It was for me to stay in shape, have fun, and, you know, plus most of the crowd in Tennessee, they came for basketball games. They didn't come for a lot of football games. But, you know, I was an athletic guy. I wasn't really your best shooter or best offensive player. Listen, I got put in to guard their best player, shut him down, and I get a dunk here and there. That's about it.
You have the reputation, and this may be what Brown's about to ask, you have the reputation of being one hell of a trash talker. True or not true?
I am the best in the world.
Oh, wow. Yes, best in the world.
That's a bold statement there.
I talk because I'm able to back it up. So.
I mean, the Rock was pretty good, right?
how do you get to be a great trash talker? What's your secret? Do you study the players you're about to play just to have some things to say to them?
I used to back in college. Now it's more so just off the dome. I try to go in mellow head or whatever, but once they start talking first, then I know, okay, it's time to turn it up a notch. Especially like, you know, the first couple of years when I was on the sideline for the USFL, I tried to, when we're on offense, I would try to get in that defensive player's head. So I always figured, especially the cornerbacks, because they're the closest to the sideline, if I just chirp a little bit, get him to turn around or talk and say something back, then I got him. And usually I would tell the quarterback that to try to go at him a little bit, and it usually works. So that's the type of antics I try to use. But as far as just being on the field, I say whatever comes to mind. I'll make a play, let them know I'm coming right back the next play. So
is anything off limits? Like if somebody came to you and they were like, JoJo, this receiver is going through a divorce, his wife was cheating on him, would you throw stuff out like that?
I wouldn't know about that. Most definitely kids is off in play. I'll never say anything about, you know, anybody's kids. And like for me personally, like I don't do the mom stuff because my mom passed away at an early age. But I mean, other than that, I think everything's free game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean that's good. Who have you faced?
Bald heads?
Like Jim's bald is
would
bad.
you take a shot at me or Skip?
I definitely talk about bald heads. I talk about the bald head players on my team.
What about Skip?
You got a bald head on the other team? Skip is cool. We talk about his head here and there a little bit because, you know, once he takes it off, it's brighter than everything. So he gets a couple jokes here and there too.
Who have you faced that you're like, hey, now that guy's pretty good trash talker too? Like you've never met your match according to you, but who has come close?
Who's come close? I'd say Davin Bellamy for the Defenders. I played against him, of course. You know, he was with the Breakers the first year. So and it kind of got personal because they deemed him the best trash talker the first couple years. I mean, the first couple games. So then when we played him the first time, I had to let him know, like, nah, that title belongs to me. But that's my guy. You know, every time we play against each other, it's always been chirping. So I would say he's come a close second, but I don't think nobody can top me. Nah.
Best pass catcher, could be receiver, could be tight end, you have ever had to cover in your career is who?
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you the fastest for sure is Khalif Raymond. I think he's on Detroit now. I guarded him when I was in Tennessee, but I would say the best is probably Delaney Walker.
Okay.
Those one-on-ones at practice, man, that he was a vet. He was a great vet for a reason. So probably him. Also, Corey Davis didn't drop a single pass when I was in training camp. I guarded AJ for his size. AJ Brown is 6'1", 230, and he's way faster than what he looks, as we were talking about earlier. But I would say the best overall is probably Delaney or Corey Davis.
Hey, you got worn out when you were the Titans. You had to cover all those guys, did you?
All over the place, definitely, yeah.
Well, good luck this weekend, JoJo. We appreciate the time pulling for the Stallions. Hope you guys make it to the championship game.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care. JoJo Tillery with us, the Stallions safety.
Birthday coming up in
June.
June 22nd in a few weeks. Yeah. Stallions, theUFL.com, theUFL.com for tickets. 2 o'clock this weekend. You can go watch the Stallions as they take on Michigan for the USFL Division Championship and a berth in the League Championship game the following week in St. Louis. So all that is going on. We apologize for Gary Owen. He is coming to town, though, right? Is that what we're having?
Yeah, he'll be at the Comedy Club Stardome, 444-0008, stardome.com. Tickets available for tomorrow night's show. There's a chance, depending, I know it's just going to be me and you tomorrow. Brown's going to be out. But depending on his travel, is one of the reasons he wasn't going to be able to come in studio tomorrow. Maybe we can get him at some point.
Okay, so maybe tomorrow, but we apologize for that. Love the jokes inside. Is there a chance Peyton Thorne and Gary Owen are starting a podcast together?
It's possible.
Called the Mystery Fifth Hour because they both missed the show back-to-back days. No, Gary wasn't working on the NIL video with the folks at Auburn to miss the show today. Another one of you guys in the chat room. College football coming up tomorrow, but again, yesterday we got the release of the college football playoff schedule, the way it's going to look. And remember, ESPN, they've got the rights to it. ESPN, ABC, same company, have the rights to all the college football playoffs, but they sold 2 games to TNT that'll actually go up against NFL regular season games in the playoff first round, but that looks more real when you have it laid out. So we talked about that first weekend. We didn't really talk about the second weekend, where you get Tuesday, December 31st, the Fiesta Bowl, and then on January 1st, all day long in the 3 TV windows, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, all playoff games. And then we'll play the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl for the semifinals on January 9th and January 10th. And all the way on January 20th is now when we have the national championship game in Atlanta.
I don't know if you remember, we did this months ago. Little T built the graphic for it, though. The 40-day run of football we've got that involves this in the NFL is absolutely incredible.
Because you'll have interlocking playoffs in the NFL and college football, regular season winding down.
Yep.
Just unbelievable football in our future. And the season starts in 79 days with week 0. We look forward to that. A new Meltdown comes up live today at 2 Central. Don't forget the elephant in the room with Mick Gillespie and Jake Coker at Roll Damn Pods over there at Disrupt the Media. War Damn Pods gives you Zach and Brad in their new Village Vice. Like and subscribe everywhere at Disrupt the Media. New Uncorked, new Pennant Grace out as well. Disrupt the Media on YouTube. And wherever you're watching us, like the Next Round on YouTube, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.